Hello, everyone. Another awesome week of sports with some angry results depending on who you are. Clearly not Jay. Jay had a nice little week there
The comeback trail has hit.
on the picks.
Boy,
Let's see. But as I talked about last week, he is back. There's Drew,
Hi,
and
everybody.
welcome
and
back, welcome back, welcome back.
Thank you,
let's
Jay. Appreciate it. Glad being back. Feels
let's
good.
let's jump into these college games because there was a lot to talk about, obviously. And Drew, if you want to start it off, uh, what was your thoughts on the ball games this weekend?
I think we got two really good games and two reasons why they will never let a group of five school in the playoffs again.
Nope. And you
Right.
want to know,
The
and the
dog
sad
walk of
part,
James Madison and the absolute thumping of Tulane prove that there's just a different level between where you are in the major conferences versus the mid majors. And yeah, every once in a while, and that's why it's such a great upset when those mid majors beat these major high profile programs. But you just saw no matter how prepared James Madison was, you
but
saw that Oregon's 80 players that were four stars or above, what they just do to teams that aren't at their caliber. I mean, they scored. They went
it
down.
was
They had five consecutive touchdown drives, averaging more than 65 yards per drive, and I think their longest drive was 5 plays in that entire stretch.
it was a boat race.
Yeah,
And I didn't even wear. Part of me took off because I was going to wear Oregon today, and then I said no because the back half of that game and the back half of that game pissed me off
yeah,
because where James Madison didn't look like they belonged in the same room as Oregon in the first part of that game. By the second half, if they would have, if Oregon's defense don't tighten up, that's the only win they're gonna have in this tournament. Because they to
yeah.
give up 400 some odd yards to James Madison,
So wait, they didn't. I thought they took out. I thought they said something this morning about, but they took out their starters.
I mean, maybe late in the
no,
third, but
no. They
but
starters were still in there. They took out a couple of their starters.
but even if you do that, you still have four-star players
Star,
up and
that's what I'm
down that
saying. You still got
roster.
4-star recruits. That's why if you look at Dan Lanning's, if you look at, they said they weren't playing no music after the game. It wasn't that you would have thought that they lost if you walked into the locker room. That's
Yeah, I
the
don't think
only
anybody was
thing that
happy.
I take away from that I like because they knew that they didn't pay up to their standards and they gotta step it up. And Lennon said practice this week is gonna suck
Yeah,
because you can't do that against the Texas Tech.
Texas
You're
Tech
not your offense ain't gonna
is
your offense is definitely not going to be able to do everything that it did against James Madison against Texas Tech. I know that.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's not, so you they got to tighten up. And it
Yeah.
was that second half. That second half, some of the mental lapses that was out there on defense. When I'm sitting there watching that game, I'm sitting there. I'm like, my squad about to get out second round again. Lord help me. Just I can't never enjoy it because they always lose in the second round. They just like what the heck. But James
Oh,
Madison, I agree. Tulane and James Madison.
Yeah, because I mean,
okay.
if you look at who was left out, right? Look at Notre Dame, you look at BYU, you look at Vanderbilt, and I forget what the other one is, but
Uh,
they would not have been overmatched. Like you would have seen maybe BYU maybe would have been overmatched at Oregon. You might have had a similar
Offensively, yes.
you might have had a similar outcome, but I believe they would have given you a much better defensive game and a
mm-hmm.
much
Yeah.
more low scoring game.
Yeah.
I know Notre Dame, Oregon would have been a great game. Vanderbilt would have made it exciting. At least you would have had the hype machine that is, Pavia,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who the next thirst trap he's going after is, but he's going to make it interesting at least, because I think it was I was watching in an interview, and they said it great. They said with James Madison and Tulane, you don't get either the hype and the buildup and the blowout. You don't get you can only have one or the other. You can have the
No.
hype and the build out and get blown up, or you can have no hype and get an upset. But you can't have neither. It was Sam Acho on Fox. That's who it was. And you have to pick one or the other. You have to give us one. Otherwise, there is just nothing there. And there wasn't a single thing anybody thought. Nobody thought
No.
either James Madison or Tulane was winning.
No. It was just more
Not
of
outside their fan base now.
not
You
even
would have
their
been
fan
better.
base.
You would have been better sending Tulane to go play Alabama and James Madison to play Oklahoma. I think those would have been better two games.
Yeah.
Those would have been a better two games than what you got out of the prime time games. Best game of the whole first half. The best game of the first round was Indiana, or not Indiana, Alabama and Oklahoma. That was the best game, hands down. Great game. They came back 17-0, and really showed the quarterback really showed his just incredible leadership skills. I think that's the reason that they're as good as they're going to be in that game. The next game coming up is going to be way, way harder. I don't see Alabama winning, but
if they don't shore up, I would not, if I was anybody, and I'm glad I don't put money on these games, I would not sleep on Alabama at this point, because for them to go down 17-0, their offensive line looked like it was a sieve. And this is no lie. I I don't know if you're still in the group and you saw my post that night, but literally me and Jay are talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Jay hits me up, he goes, "Yeah, Alabama should be in there." And I went, "I know." And it was like we put it in the air and it somehow got the bounce.
At 9:04, and I'm looking at 9:04, I texted him, I said, Alabama does not deserve to be here. And he said, I know. By 9, what was it? When did I say what in the
it would have been 9:30.
By 9:20, I was like, what in the fuck?
Yeah,
right.
100%.
And then he responded back. He responded back. He said, I think they heard what we said. I was like, well, it was that bad.
Is Alabama's strength is its passing game. It has elite passing.
Yeah,
if they can block,
have elite passing. Going down 17-0 and needing to be,
but they got to block for Ty
really
Simpson.
Great at it. But they are terrible at running the ball and committing the defense and making the defense, worry that they're going to run the ball. So once you get into, and Oklahoma's strength is not their cornerbacks and deep men. It's their front. It's their defensive line. That's their strength.
Right.
Getting after the quarterback, getting the running back, stopping to run.
And that was another thing that caught them off guard, because Bama was especially they were coming.
That's what they do well. That's what carried them to the playoff was their elite passing.
And they sat there. It seemed like something clicked in their head on that sideline after they got down 17-0, and they said, "You know what? We're going to punch them completely in the mouth the rest."
You know what?
It's the quarterback.
It was the board.
Man.
Ooh. Y'all just reminded me.
Going that quarterback, man. He was in their ear the whole time. Just, hey, let's get a good series. Let's go out get a good.
Both coaches were having like conniption fits.
There was a lot of pass interference not called. An awful lot of pass interference was not called.
Yeah, they did let them play. The analysts kept saying that they're letting them play. They were like, "Man, I really appreciate these refs are letting them play." But
some of it
was are going crazy on you though.
Right,
100%, man.
The coach, but the penalties they were calling, man, the coaches were losing their mind. and I loved it. I was all about
Oh
it
yeah,
because we've been talking about it. Those are the teams that you're going to you're more likely going to see that team end up in a championship than not
sure.
because of the fact that they're going to make you either they're going to figure out what they got because they're going to handle you like that and either you're going to step up to what the expectation is or you're going to flounder. Which one are you going to do? And if you flounder, you got to go cuz this is Bama, this is Oklahoma, we ain't having that here.
Yeah.
We're Michigan. We're not having that here. We're Ohio State. We're not having that here.
Now, okay, you can't bring up Michigan and tell them that they're
Yeah, you
not
can't
having
bring up
anything
Michigan
there.
right
Michigan has
now.
yeah, I
everything.
know. Yeah,
They
I
let
know.
everything happen.
Woo,
Yeah,
boy.
they let the coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
They
but
got full
but
of themselves.
even
But
even
every
even
good college has that. It happens.
even even Desmond Howard had to say that they need to go back to the days of Bo Schembechler. It is like
Good luck.
right.
It's gonna be tough.
So right, and will the kids be able to handle that? Is another question. So,
No.
but anyway, back to the
But yeah,
playoff.
French press.
Uh, uh, Bama definitely shocked me and Jay. I feel like I
Oh,
feel
I
bad
was
for
like, what the hell?
Oklahoma because did you notice how quiet it got?
It was
As soon as it
yeah,
got 17-7 and then it got 17-10, it got amazingly quiet in Oklahoma.
yeah. Well,
Marvin got
that nasty pick six that he threw to bring him to tie the game was backbreaking for
as soon as
Yes.
Oklahoma.
that happened, there was no coming back for them. They could
Yeah,
not figure out a way
it
to
was a
tap
straight
out of that
just
role.
here, take this
Yeah.
and go score on me, and
Yeah,
that's a
because
problem.
that hyped up the Bama defense even more. Like,
Oh,
yeah, let's do this. We got this.
oh yeah,
And DeBoer was like, I am not leaving Alabama. I'm not going to Michigan. You get your butt out there and you play now.
very true.
It was, and that to see that flip, Venable's gonna have to answer some questions because it seemed like they had no chance to stop that momentum.
It really comes down to quarterback play.
But and
His quarterback was not good. His
He
quarterback is good enough to beat teams that can't exploit the fact that he has bad footwork. But once
and
you get
he's
a
a
team
run,
that
and that's
can
and
rush
can't
him
get to him.
and force him to make quick decisions and mess up his timing routes, he's gonna panic and he's not gonna get there. So he has some growth still. He
but how many
can get better. He has the talent. It's his feet. It's his footwork
but how many but
that
but
causes issues.
one of the questions, Drew, when it comes to that I had was that how can you have such bad footwork in your passing game and be a running quarterback? They most of they have most of they
But
Yeah,
in my opinion,
happy feet.
what was
He wants
that's
to run
happening?
it before he
you
throws
saw
it.
it.
Yeah, in my opinion, what was happening was because he was having so much success and wasn't having to worry about their front four
Yep.
and their front seven, and then all of a sudden everything got ramped up. It threw him off because he's
Yeah,
like
it's
because at the beginning of the game when they were winning, they were over pursuing, giving him a full lay of the land so he could see
Yeah.
everything.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, they kind of went Denver versus Carolina. Nobody moved from the middle. Push everybody back into him. And he's sitting up here trying to look downfield. And
yeah. They threw a
whether
lot of shifts and
it's
stunts and
They
curls at
did
him
a
on the
lot
run,
of
and
stunts.
he got confused real easily, and that's why he threw that interception.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
He threw
because
that
pressure
interception off
bust
his back
pipes.
foot.
yeah, it
You
happens.
you
Yeah,
don't know when to run. You don't you trying to look downfield, but you know that they coming, and you're like damn it, I don't have a window to run, and I don't have time to look downfield because I got to
Yeah.
worry about who behind me. Are they on the side of me? Where they at? And by the time he's trying to figure that out, he's
So
once
like,
again on his butt.
yeah,
Pressure bust pipes.
yeah.
So
wait, now one other question.
yes,
Texas A&M and Miami.
Great game.
yes,
Great defensive game.
Oh yeah, sloppy offense.
Oh my God.
So, I said this because a writer asked me about this, and when I gave him my answer, he went ding 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 ding, and I basically told him, I said the team that relied on their running game for 4 quarters won.
That was Miami. And
Yeah.
my that was the crazy part about that was that for him to have 17 carries for 160,
Hmm.
160, 163,
Yeah,
Hmm.
there
some of
was
that.
nothing that they could do. And
Nope.
it all came down to for that game to come down to pretty much another happy feet quarterback throwing a pass off his back foot at the end of that game.
So on that route, it's I forget what they call it. I think it's called a Texas route, but it's a timing route towards and you have to your quarterback has to be in a certain rhythm when he throws that pass, or it's
Mm-hmm.
always going to get intercepted. The window is open very slightly and it's open not very long. So you have to be on it. And if you're not, it's always an interception. And that's what they ran, and that's what he was looking for. So it wasn't it was that he shuffle stepped and
Yep.
one too much, and then he threw it when he shouldn't have. He should
And,
have
and when he threw
found
it, he
somebody
threw it
else. Yeah.
behind. He threw it
Yep.
behind where he was on there, and all the corner did was undercut and had it right in his hands for it.
Yep.
So as I saw it, I was like,
Now he put it in the right place if he had it that second before.
second four, yep.
He had that was the
He
right
had
place
rope.
he needed to throw it. It was just he had the wrong timing, and that happens a lot. That route is very hard to learn, especially. I mean, he's sophomore, quarterback's a sophomore.
I think he's a sophomore, so he's gonna be back.
He's young. He's
He's
19.
young.
That's a really hard thing to learn. At 19, I'm 42 and still have trouble knowing the captain.
That game when I finally got into it to watch that game, and I was like, wait a minute, they were saying that this was supposed to be the highest scoring game out of everything besides the two ones.
Nobody could figure out how to play offense, man. And that's
because their defenses were nightmares. Both of the defenses were nightmares.
They were, but like there was chances for Miami to exploit in that medium long range in the passing game. They did it a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm good.
On out routes and stuff like that. But overall, they did a good job at not letting Beck get comfortable.
Yeah, right.
And to find his, because that's gonna be your second, maybe even third option when you're running three wides. You know, that's gonna be your slot guy breaking out, and he's your third option, or it's like, all right, so it's tough. He's, they played a good Texas A&M played a great defensive game, and giving up 10 points, you would hope your offense could, muster 13. Like,
right. You hope that they could do that, and they could.
Yeah, it's not great. It's a good thing for Ohio State because I feel like Ohio State matches up better with Miami in the Cotton Bowl than playing a home game against Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I also think that Ohio State's offensive line is better than Texas A&M's offensive line. So the defense isn't going to hit home. Miami's defense isn't going to hit home as often with just their front four. They're going to disguise really good blitzes, and they're going to come on blitzes, and then they're going to hit Julian Sand. That's a given. But how does he do when he is
those
under
two
that duress?
ends? What are they going to do with those two? What is Ohio State going to do about them two ends? Because them two ends were and the fact that they were switching around so much, like 1 minute they were on the end, next minute they was on the next end, next minute they were right next to each other, and they just
you let the over pursuit happen, and you just keep running it up the gut. Yeah, and they're gonna change what they do because Bo Jackson's gonna get you 6-7 yards of carry at that point going up the gut, because if they keep pulling to a side or keep opening everything up,
you got cut back lanes.
I mean he's to your second level inside of 3 steps, and while he's a freshman, I still don't want to get hit by him. Like he's running really fast from the linebacker. I don't want to.
It's true.
That.
And then they got and then they got their 12th man. They got their 12th man down there on the sidelines, and I got to bring him up
Oh,
because that was
Michael.
funny. Yeah, they got their 12th man down there on the sidelines. Oh my
That
God.
game is going to be that Cotton Bowl game on Friday night is going to be outrageous
It's gonna be
because
great.
And
because
you
with because
and you
Clarette's
know
gonna
Ohio
probably
State
show up.
owes them, right?
What you mean they owe him?
Oh, actually, no.
No,
Miami
Miami
actually
has
owes
not
them.
beaten a Big Ten team in a bowl game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Miami lost the national
I
title when
forgot.
the
I
guy broke
forgot
his leg.
I forgot it was the other way around
Yeah,
because
Clarette beat them.
they
Yeah.
That was Clarette's game.
Well,
well, yeah.
well, the running back from Miami broke his leg after taking an insurance policy out
Yeah,
on
yeah.
himself.
Because that
Well,
wasn't that
that
McGahee?
that
Yes,
plus they weren't really focused on the game anyway.
No, they was focused on the party.
it was
Remember
the Orange Bowl, wasn't it?
the
For
Rock
the national championship.
the Rock and Ray Lewis was throwing them a party the whole weekend leading up to the bowl game.
Of course they were.
That's why it's not. The only fear that I have for these games that's coming up is what happened last year. Because last year, you got to remember, everybody that got a bye lost.
Yes.
So it's
That's
not.
a fear.
So it's like it's a fear because you didn't had a you didn't. Some of these teams have not played in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Well, 3 weeks, I think. Yeah, because
Did Georgia play the SEC championship
Georgia played the SEC championship game,
with Alabama? Ohio
and
State and Indiana played.
yep.
Texas Tech and
So
BYU played.
Indiana and Ohio State got theirs, and then Texas Tech played. So everybody played. It's been 3 weeks since they last played because they played that first.
Oh no, it will be 3 weeks. Yeah.
It'll be 3 weeks since they played. Yep. And the last time when that happened, them teams was rusty.
I mean, Ohio State beat Oregon last year, 41-21.
Right, and that game was that score wasn't even close.
No,
so it's not.
It's definitely feasible.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they took because Oregon. One of the things that they talked about was that they didn't stop. Like they kept their team on the same regimen. They was glad that they didn't get a bye because they said that they kept them in their pattern or in their routine, getting into there for it. For some of these teams to be going to where they didn't had a break, some of them might be coming back home for Christmas for a hot second, then meeting up with the team to come back down. I don't know. I think that it should not be as bad as it was last year, but it's still going to be some.
Yeah.
It's going to be some questions on some of that. Ohio State, after looking at how Ohio State looked against Indiana, Ohio State does scare them.
It's going to be a tough game, but I think they're going to figure it out because of the running game and just letting the running game be the reason that the passing game is effective. Because I think he's going to go. I think he's only going to throw the ball 25 times.
Which will be
23 to 25, and he's going to throw for 280 yards and maybe a touchdown, maybe 2. Everything else is going to be on the ground.
Yeah, I'm not worried about their defense. Their defense is there so they can do it. The only thing that scares me about Ohio State's defense is when they run against the run game, when they get to that second and third level. Their corners do not tackle well at Miami. If Ohio State gets downhill against those safeties for Miami, and vice versa with Miami's running back, if he gets downhill with those, because that's what killed them toward the back end for the Ohio State Indiana game. They corners was not playing discipline out there on those receivers.
The corners were okay. Your biggest problem is I think your outside I think it's your left outside linebacker for Ohio State. That's the reason he's a left outside linebacker, not your middle linebacker. He's still good. But if you're going to run it at somebody 15, 20 times, you're going to run it at him.
Be like, hey, no, go to counterplay left.
That way.
Pitch left. Go that way. Why are you making that face? What is
Isaiah on TV looking rough.
Isaiah who? Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Health issues. All that Michael hate still built into him. He still can't get it. You can't hold that hatred in there. It makes you age. It makes you
Yeah.
look.
Yeah. Yeah. One of his eyes looked like somebody punched him in it.
No, he has he has Bell. I thought he had Bell's palsy or something. It was something that he has. He is dealing with a health issue.
Gotcha. Yeah, but it's they got him and it's some games about to come on Peacock, and they got him and Derek Fisher on there tonight with some guy I've never seen. Um, but my bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
Continue.
Now,
The look
Georgia,
on his face.
Alabama is the game that I'm really interested. I think that's going to be the best game of this round coming up.
Yeah.
It's just classic SEC matchup. I don't see Georgia, or it's not. Is it Georgia, Alabama? No, it's
Georgia, Ole
Georgia, Ole
Miss.
Miss.
No,
Yeah, sorry,
Georgia,
Georgia,
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss. That's the one. And here's the reason why. And it's because of Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin not calling the game and not making the second half adjustments is going to let Georgia just pull away in the second half because they're going to have a great game plan coming in. And you saw the difference in play style, and that's a
Yeah.
great play style for Ole Miss against Georgia. But those second half adjustments that Georgia's going to make offensively, and that Ole Miss is going to miss making defensively, and vice versa, are going to just let Georgia. You're going to see it. Their first 10, 15 scripted plays coming out of halftime offensively, Georgia is going to score probably 2 touchdowns off of those first 15 plays.
Yeah. I was proud of how Ole Miss played in spite of everything that was going on. And you missed my rant when it came to that because Kiffin went to LSU and I'm like, you traded Benedict Arnold for a worse Benedict Arnold. So It's kind of like potato. But I'm glad.
Lane Kiffin's a better coach than Brian Kelly.
Yes, and I think that Lane fits LSU's style better than Brian Kelly does. But
Sure.
the fact of the matter is the same thing. If the NFL comes a calling it within the next 2 to 3 years,
maybe
he's gone. If he gets an opportunity to be an NFL head coach with a setup team, he's gone. He's not going to stick around for that because he's like, if I'm already managing a multi-million-dollar corporation with LSU,
yeah,
go do it in the NFL, and I'm 1 of 30 instead of 1 of 100. But Ole Miss did. I think Ole Miss did what they needed to. They made it. They got through that first game.
I'm proud of Ole Miss. I think
I'm proud of them too because
did great work.
I was expecting for that game to be a little bit closer, but then I was like, nah, they're gonna run them. And then they ran them out the building. Yeah. I am the main game that I am definitely looking forward to is Indiana, Alabama.
I think that Indiana is going to just there's just no Alabama doesn't do anything so well that Indiana can't just counter.
And I want the reason why I'm looking forward to that game is that this would be the defining kickoff to their program resurgence. Beating Ohio State is here. Beating Ohio State and knocking them out there was here. But to go beat Alabama,
sure,
that's going to in the Rose Bowl. That's going to be something to where there's not. Cignetti already has put forth his type of philosophy and his mentality into them. Because I totally forgot. He was the head coach at James Madison before he went to Indiana.
Yes, he was.
So now sitting up there, I'm like, now he didn't got here and he did this within 2 years because I still remember. A lot of people don't remember Michael Penix used to be the quarterback at Indiana. when UC went on that run when they got to the college football playoff when they
Yes.
beat Indiana there. So
Yes.
it's like from that team that everybody was trying to rally around when Penix was there, and UC went into Indiana and beat them to Indiana, a number one seed. You would never saw that within 4 or 5 years in your wildest dreams, and to sit there and say they beat Oregon and Ohio State in the same year,
And Penn State.
and everybody
Penn
beat
State
Penn
was
State
supposed
after.
to win the whole thing.
Penn State's been supposed to win the whole thing for a couple of years, and every time they do it, sometimes
There's
James
a lot of
Franklin.
pundits that owe a lot of people a lot of favors because they bet on Penn State.
Another thing another part that you've been missing because my counterpart over there wants to get rid of the rankings for the first 7 weeks.
Sure.
See, thank you. He said sure.
Yeah, he said
I
sure.
also don't think that I don't also think that you need a show every week highlighting rankings because then you have nothing to hide. You have no way you can't change anything because you've decided that at the end of the year you think Notre Dame deserves to be in and Miami deserve to be in. You can't you can't do anything. The toothpaste is already out of the tube. You can't fix this one or the other.
Yeah, but that's Notre Dame's fault though. They've been going through this since the days of Bo Schembechler because they want to be like me and him was talking about. They want to be the side piece. Okay, you want to be the side piece. The side piece gets played. So
did you see what happened today? Did you hear about what happened today?
What's that?
I did not.
They stopped the game against USC and added BYU. So there's no matchup. There's right now the rivalry matchup between USC and Notre Dame is off until further notice.
With them, they did it with Michigan and I forget who the other one was.
Stanford. No, Stanford. They still played. Yeah, they still played Stanford, but they said the USC one because they said that it's too. The result that they said was that for them to try to schedule most teams in the Power Four conferences, which they consider themselves still in the Power Four, being an independent, go figure.
They play the ACC.
That burned them because the ACC is pretty much like, we'd go with Miami.
They need to join a conference because
they've been needing to do this for years.
See, here's my philosophy with Notre Dame is that, or the way that I want to see it is I want teams to get rewarded and not punished for playing other Power Four conference teams that aren't in their conference. So like Texas, when they go to play Ohio State and they lost, okay, that didn't hurt them at all. You just get 0 points that week. Or you get 1 point because you automatically get there. Now Ohio State winning and not against a non-conference gets 3 points.
Right.
In that kind of system. Well, if Notre Dame, all they schedule, they're not in a conference, so they can never have an out-of-conference game. So they don't get the bonus. Notre Dame get a cushion. So every loss they have is worth -1 point.
They can't cup themselves realistically because a lot of their wins that they did get in that 10-game winning streak was on bottom half teams.
I mean, they struggle mightily. Texas. I mean, I can see the case for Texas getting put in, and I can see the case for Notre Dame getting put in because of the wins. But Miami has to make it. If either one of those teams make it, you have to put Miami in.
Right.
And I honestly think that, like I said, you put Texas against, Oregon. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good game.
It's a really good game.
Then, you put Notre Dame and Ole Miss together. That's a really good game.
All right.
That's a really good game, man. That's all I'm saying. I think you're going to see it. Now you're going to see the result of what I think that a um, Texas Oregon game looked like against Texas Tech and
Right.
Oregon. That game is going to be what Texas and Oregon would have looked like. Um, I feel. I
But
still think that and Texas Tech hasn't played a team as complete and as deep as Oregon.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Like I believe that Oregon has it in them to make the run to the finals. The problem is that I don't think Oregon can beat either Ohio State or Georgia.
you know what? And I will honestly sit there and say Georgia snowball's chance of hell. I
Yeah,
don't
they're
because
so tough.
they're not because you cannot you or if Oregon would have boat raced James Madison and scored 70 to 80 points and
Yeah,
not took their foot off the gas, I would feel less leery about them going up against actual on their level or above their level talent.
4 and 5 star guys that are
Right. But
murder. Yeah,
when your defense slacks off and your offense, Oregon, I don't know what. I'm sitting there the entire game and I'm like, why do I feel like we're losing?
it's
I'm
your
watching the game. I'm like, why do I feel like we're losing?
it's
I
your
did
quarterback.
I did get worried once I saw the score. I'm like, uh-oh, they
No, they
It
weren't.
scored.
was
I
it wasn't
wasn't
nearly
worried.
that
But
close.
but Sadiq, their freak of a tight end, didn't have no catches.
Nope. It's your quarterback, man. He is the reason that you are going to lose.
Yeah.
When Oregon loses, it is going to be because of your quarterback.
But it can't be
And
because of
their
Dante
quarterbacking
Moore.
and their
He should be
play calling
drafted.
because Dante, this goes into your wheelhouse for it. You have four legit 4 to 5 star running backs back there and a grade A offensive line, and you passing the ball around all the freaking time.
I don't know
Their
why.
their fourth string running back was the one that got the tackle for loss on the punt return, Lamar. He's their fourth string. They put him in the fourth quarter. He broke a 15-yard run.
Yeah.
But you're throwing the ball. Yes, you have receivers. You have a talented tight end. You have a talented receiver core. But once you get, if they are not stopping that run, especially in these games that's ongoing, you keep feeding.
You got to look
Let them
at
eat.
you got to be as absolutely selfless and non-ego driven, which is the weirdest thing that Carson Beck ever showed, is being non-ego driven in that game.
Yeah.
And it was not what I expected out of him. I expected him to try and throw out of his own issues, like just to keep compounding the problem. I expected
Yeah, he
Beck
tried that during
to
the season.
just
It
keep
didn't go well.
throwing and keep throwing. Just go. I just need to get into a rhythm. Just need to get into a rhythm. And he went,
Yeah,
"No, I'm not. I'm not in. I'm not coming close to a good rhythm. I need to just. We need to work out something different and use our legs, and that's what
yeah.
works."
He
So
he 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 tried that during the season. It didn't,
yeah,
and in those
didn't
games,
work.
it didn't go well.
Nope.
So let's see. So who? Let's take our Jay.
It's a pick.
Let's add Drew. Let's make some things interesting for next Monday.
Okay.
So based upon what we've seen and what we know of all the teams. Drew, we'll let you go first. Who do you have going to the next round?
I'll take Ohio State over Miami. Um,
Okay.
do I have to give you? Do I need to give you a point
Nah,
spread?
just who won.
Just 2 wins.
Just
Okay.
yeah, just who wins.
Yeah. So I'll take Ohio State over Miami. I'll take Georgia over Ole Miss. I'm gonna take Oregon over Texas Tech, and I'll take Indiana over Alabama.
So everybody that got a bye is going to win this year.
No.
Oh
No,
wait.
Oregon's beating
Oh,
Texas.
never
Oregon
mind.
beat Texas Tech.
It's gonna be real close, but I think
Okay.
Oregon ekes it out by like 3 or 4. Not many. It's gonna be that freak defensive play that Oregon was finally able to make, you know, after almost a damn near perfect game from Texas Tech, and they make that one little mistake that Oregon can bounce on. And
Are any of the other ones gonna be close?
I think the first half of the Georgia Ole Miss game is going to be real close, inside of 7.
Mm-hmm.
Just until that halftime Kirby Smart, you know, fix it gadget that he's going to throw into that offense, and they're going to that like I said that 10-15 play script that they're going to have coming out of half. I think they're going to score twice and they're going to pull away. I think they're going to win by 21. Just
Okay.
because those, and it's not lack of talent on Ole Miss part. It's just
It's the
that
coach.
they outmaneuvered them because Lane Kiffin's not there. I think if
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's there, Ole Miss has
Ole Miss gives them,
has
Ole Miss,
more than a 50-50 shot at winning this thing if Lane Kiffin's still there.
yeah.
Um,
That's one of the things to where it's a big what if. And when we talked about that a couple of weeks back when all that went down, I'm like, it wasn't going anywhere. You could have just, but that daggone, and we'll talk about that one on a later show because I went off about how do you have your free agency period right before your playoffs? That's like the NFL saying, "Hey, free agency is open after week 18.
Yeah,
Have at it," and then
what do
having
you want?
players to sit there and having players sit there and leave right before the playoffs, even though they team going to playoffs. You know what? They offered me more money. I'm out of here,
Yeah.
and it made a mess of everything with it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Dante, who you got?
um, let's see. Mm. You know what? I'm gonna start with the one because I'm gonna start with the two that I think is gonna be sneaky. I'm actually gonna go with Bama to once again surprise everybody.
I can definitely see it.
I'm gonna go with Bama to surprise everybody because
Okay.
now that they've done what they did against Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
have
Momentum is a big
all
thing.
the respect for what Indiana's doing, but unfortunately for them, they are having to play a team that the players got a lot to prove. And Kalen DeBoer as a coach and all the coordinators, they got something to prove. And I think that the level of we saw the level that Kalen DeBoer is on. He didn't care who saw. He if you messed up and you came to that sideline, you did not. It kind of took me back to the stories that I told Jay. Jay, you remember the stories I told you about my 1 year at West High? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You didn't want to commit a penalty and go to the sideline, or heck, I sat up there and got yelled at because the ball went hike. It was a run play, the quarterback is trying to hand me the ball. I already got two defensive guys in my face. So I'm just more worried about just getting the ball and not fumbling, which obviously I get tackled. I get yelled at when I get to the sidelines. I'm like,
Why did you run?
like, how come you didn't do this? And I'm looking at him like,
Did you see who was coming at me?
like you knew I
There's
should
400
run.
pounds of meat trying to kill me.
Y'all,
So,
I gotta go home. My mom is not gonna let me play no more. What the hell is wrong with you? Shoot.
so yeah,
Okay.
that was the level that I saw in that Oklahoma game from both coaches. It was hilarious and I loved
Yeah.
it. But anyway, but yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like they gonna mess around and
You
knock them
think they're
out.
not going to be able to put in? You think that Indiana's going to mess around too much, not put Alabama away, and give them a shot to take it to them at the end?
Yeah, if it's
Okay, I can
if
see
they're
it.
if it's like the Miami Texas A&M game,
Yeah.
Bama's gonna pull that game out.
Okay.
So
I like it. I like that call, man. I like that one.
now Georgia, I'm going with Georgia, and the reason why I'm going with Georgia, do I think that Ole Miss will surprise Georgia and potentially have a chance to win this game? Yes, but here's the problem. Georgia has been quiet and ain't nobody been giving them
So
really
good.
their respect all year.
Mm-mm.
They're
And
so
and
good. The
and
last 8 weeks of this season, they've been so good.
right.
So
And they've
good.
been flying under the radar because everybody been talking about Alabama and everybody been talking about Alabama and what's
Everybody
gonna
been
happen
talking
with
about everybody else in the SEC except for Georgia.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Ole
too.
Miss was getting the love. Texas A&M was getting the love.
Oh yeah.
Alabama was getting the love
Look,
for
man.
it.
Texas
So
Vanderbilt was getting more
A&M.
love. Think about it. Vanderbilt for a while was getting more love than Georgia.
yeah.
So
Until they got wrecked.
So yeah, that's what's going on there.
Okay.
Now be I really honestly the way that defense played, I feel like nobody I don't feel like Ohio State has had to deal with that kind of nightmare where where you have to worry about the front seven, specifically two guys. And how's your blocking scheme gonna work out? And how's that gonna work out for Sand? Is he gonna be able to stay poised? He hasn't faced a defense that's gonna come at him uh uh like Bain and la 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 la. Uh, I know it starts with an M, but I don't remember. Was it Medeiros? Medeiros or something like
I think
that?
it might be Medeiros.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Beta Medeiros. And it's like, because I was sitting there listening to it because I was out working and I'm like, oh my God, do y'all take a break? It's
No,
No, they do
like,
not. And
no.
that's the thing
And that's
is
the
that
and,
type of defense I
Ohio State
like.
offensive line
that's
Dante
hold up.
and then even when they couldn't get to him, somebody else was getting back there because
Yeah.
they were so busy trying to keep the other two off. So
it's going to
I'm
be
gonna say Ohio State, but I'm not gonna be shocked if because of that defense if Miami pulls it out. And
Yeah.
plus with if Beck continues to be selfless, um, the one running back that had the fumble and then they ended up letting him get the winning touchdown. He is a problem. He has been a problem all season. And that was part of the reason why I was shaking my head as to why Beck was trying to play hero ball. Like, dude, whether it's kick return or him at running back, get this man the ball.
ball. Give him the ball. Let
Yeah.
that boy run.
Yeah.
That was a run, young man run. And
Yes.
he did what he needed to. That's why it's not.
And then Fletcher came out of nowhere. I knew about Tony. Tony is a wrecker, but Fletcher kind of came out of nowhere. And for me, because every game that I watched in Miami, it was Tony that was getting off. Oh, sorry, his name is Mesidor.
That's it.
Mesidor for the Bane and Mesidor.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
and Tori went and Tora or Tori, however
That's
that's
Tori.
pronounced, Toure. He was a problem too.
Yep. If it
So
wasn't for that fumble, he might have been the MVP of that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I will give you that one. If it wasn't for that
It was
fumble,
just that fumble, and just because of where it happened. Now, if that happened in the other 30, the something in that range, no big deal. But
as
because
close
it
as they
happened
was.
on on your side of the field, you feel bad about it. But the defense picked it up, and
and plus the
oh well,
and plus the game was so close.
yeah,
Is yeah. So but they was like, but the
yeah.
defense was like, don't worry, we got you.
Don't worry about
And
it.
then
Yeah, we're playing good.
Mesidor and Bain just went kill. So yeah. Um and then Oregon Texas Tech. I feel kind of awkward because hold on, I gotta there we go. Um I I clicked on it and they were playing video, so it was like I couldn't really hear. Anyway, the Oregon Texas Tech game. Because of how that game continued to go. Mm. And I did get to watch a couple of Texas Tech games, and especially against when they finally faced BYU, which BYU was always a offensively they were questionable. Their defense was off the chain. It was their but their offense was hit and miss. So Texas Tech took advantage of that and just took them out. So um and obviously I'm wondering if Oregon plays like that against James Madison, they have to understand. I understand that Texas Tech came from a lower conference, but they were among the
Well,
ones that ran that conference, just like with Oklahoma, just like with Texas. And me and Jay were talking about it. I said, the Big Ten and the SEC better watch out, and the ACC, which the ACC already found out. Watch out for these Texas college teams, man, because they are not going to be pushovers just because they came to your house. They
Nope.
coming in your house with the plan of taking over your house. So, and Texas Tech definitely proved that. Texas, they still got some work to do, but I won't be surprised when Texas has a run, and Oklahoma. That uh but that being said, I'm gonna say Oregon, but uh, I I'll be surprised if they win by more than 7.
I and looking at this all and just kind of just I'm trying my best to be objective
Right.
when I look at it, but I do Oregon, I'm gonna root for Oregon. I do not like what I saw in their back end of that game. I don't.
Yeah.
Would I be surprised if they lose? No. What made me be to where I'm going to pick Oregon is the reaction that I saw after the game, even from the interviews. Nobody was happy.
And
Everybody was holding each other accountable, saying even with when you look at their quarterbacks numbers, anybody would take that game.
yeah.
But he understood, like, no, gotta be 10 times better going into there
for
and
4 quarters.
for 4 quarters. And that's the one and that's why I'm picking them because I like that demeanor for it. I think last year they went into that game like we here. We ain't nobody we already
And
beat this Ohio State squad.
they didn't understand what they were walking into, because not only did Ohio State lose to them, but they had just lost
Lost
to
to Michigan
Michigan
too.
in a head scratcher that I still right now I want to know. I'm like, how did that happen? I'm
Cheating,
like, I watched it, right.
cheating, cheating
That's the yeah.
in more ways than one.
Uh,
Cheating.
Cheating. All right, so you got Texas Tech,
Yeah.
So
Indiana,
I got
Alabama.
Oregon beating Texas Tech. I got Bama beating Indiana.
Okay.
You made it. Yay, you made it. You're Oregon last year. That's how I look at it as. You're Oregon last year. Big Ten championship coming in as the number 1 seed. You go into the Rose Bowl. That is pretty much the death knell for any Big Ten team.
And
You're not about to go in there and beat Bama with that
Bama
because
showed a different level of
right.
defense.
Bama showed me something as much. And I grew up, my father is from Alabama. His nickname is Bama. Whenever Georgia played Alabama, it would be an argument when we would be in the house. Last year, it was an argument. So this year, he's been kind of like, soon as that game, he didn't call since we've been on the show. As soon, because I ain't call him on Friday night. I wasn't about to listen to him. Good up there. That's my time. That's my time. Nah.
That's your
But
father.
He
That's
trying
whatever,
your
to get that roll
father.
tide to you.
whatever. That one right there. And he'll probably left a voicemail saying "Roll Tide" and hung up the phone. I already know. But that squad showed something. So I'm taking Bama to come out there with that one. Georgia, it's Georgia.
Yeah.
Until somebody beats Georgia in that setting, it's Georgia.
Yeah.
Now, here's the one that's gonna make everybody scratch their head. I got Miami over Ohio State.
Okay.
I don't
It
because
would not surprise me.
it wouldn't surprise you, but the one thing that I think Ohio State has not gone up against, and when they got to that Big Ten championship, I sat there and I told Dante, I told him, Ohio State ain't really played anybody. They're finally getting up against somebody that could do everything, that could compete with them. And that whole second half, their offense looked lost.
Yes.
So you're going ready to go up against a Miami team that just made Texas A&M's offense look lost.
Sure.
And you got a running game that can do what you are going to try to do, ball control and control the trenches right back at you.
True.
All right.
That running back, that if he breaks off two of them runs, and you know Miami's going to travel to Dallas, that's going to be
the 13th man, the 14th man, the
man.
15th man running up and down the
You're gonna have
sideline.
whatever
Oh,
pound they gave
Right.
Michael Irvin beforehand, it's gonna be 2 times as worse when he come out. What?
How many bumps is he taking before he walks out?
Huh?
How many bumps of cocaine is he taking before he walks out?
For that game in
Right.
Texas? Because you gotta think about it. Michael's not only going for Miami, he's going back to Jerry World.
Yep.
So that's an automatic. Jerry gonna have it waiting on him.
Damn.
He gonna have it waiting on him like, here you go, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike and Stephen A gonna be right next to each other on the sideline.
Yep. All right, guys, I gotta head out.
All right, buddy.
It was a pleasure as always. We'll talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Yep.
Hey, man.
Later.
Bye.
All right. So, now switching over. God, that was fun. And as usual,
The
went
band's
long.
back together again.
Yeah, as usual, went longer than it was supposed to.
Of course it did.
It was like it's
We
supposed to
are
be a
on a
half
time
hour.
schedule today. We have to be on a time
bro,
schedule today. I still gotta go shopping.
Bro, yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like, we talking, and the whole time I'm going,
We gotta go. You gotta get off.
Yeah, he was only supposed to be here for a half hour.
Yeah. An hour later.
Right. So but that's the beauty of it, man. Just having fun, talking sports. That is the foundation of what I want my brand to be about. And hoping going into next year, hoping to expand it and do more. But with that, let's start talking about that dag burnt cotton picking NFL. So, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. One last note. And it centers around college. Uh, and we can get more into it next week. So, uh, looks like Sharon Moore wasn't the only person being fired for cause.
The Ohio coach. Yeah. I don't.
You do and here's why you do. One, you're a smart man, and two, you pay attention to history.
I
The
don't
history of
get
people
it.
and power. The history of people, power, power, power makes people, especially if you have the power to hide it or
But
think
you
you.
know, but you want to know what's the crazy part about this is
What's
that
up?
I can get that sentiment from 1999 back. Ever since the advent of mobile technology, no, it's
Yes.
never
So
ended up right. It's
so so
it,
I get what you saying, but again, you're
I'm saying it from a standpoint of I know it's going to continue to happen. That once people, because everybody's going to think that they're untouchable once they get to a certain point. They think that nothing can affect them for it. But we live in a society to where now, as soon as something goes left in a relationship, in a business agreement, anything else, it's not a separation, it's a destruction of everything that you had coming into it, because I don't want to see you happier without me than you were with me.
and I also have a feeling that this is going affect coaches that if you ain't winning, oh, your secret's out, so we can get you out and we don't have to pay you.
Exactly. And here's the other part, and I was going to mention it from there. Michigan had the worst thing come happen today to me. When your interim coach and his lobbying to take over for it starts emphasizing the wholesale, and I'm gonna use a word that the NCAA loves to use, lack of institutional control for that program, all the way up to the AD. The NCAA had, if the NCAA reopens their investigation to them, there might be a nasty penalty coming for Michigan. Because if they can show that these allegations been swept under the rug, they've been covered up and everything else for years, going back to before Harbaugh, because Pierogi was there before Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
If they go all the way back to that, Michigan's screwed.
Mm-hmm.
And for to give Michigan the death sentence, which is pretty much where you got to think about it. When SMU got the death sentence that they just got out of from it, that's going to, in this day and age, there might not be no coming back from that.
Yeah.
But so if you try to get lock and step with everything for it, instead of being unifying throughout this whole thing, he's been doing the opposite.
But and here's where the technicality comes in. Obviously, he knows some stuff that people don't know.
Right.
And I get him saying, you know what? This may not put put us in the best light, but if you gonna give me this job, oh, I'm not gonna get thrown under the bus if this other stuff come out. May as well get it out now. And
And,
I and
if that's what he's trying to do, I understand that.
but
I
it's
understand
not
that
gonna
wholeheartedly.
benefit the school.
It's not going to benefit the school. So you already put yourself behind the eight ball if you get the job, because you sat there and said all of this and put all this into the ether for it.
And
You
then the
can't,
question of you're the interim.
right?
So God forbid they find a reason to you're just the interim. So they don't they could just go, well, we wanted to go in another direction anyway. You know we've been looking for another coach. You could feel free to go.
And if anything, what coach, if they know for a fact is in that they might be in this situation, is going to want the job?
Right. That's why I've been laughing at all the people talking about that the Michigan job is the premier place to be.
No,
Like right now, it ain't.
no, because why? It can't be the premier job if I'm sitting up. If it goes left, I'm not gonna have nothing to build off of. If I have a complete restriction of
Or
scholarships, a restriction of NIL funds that can be allocated, everything else, how, and I'm in the Big Ten, how am I going to compete? I'm barely competing now. It's not, this will put them, they will be in Northwestern, Purdue, Rutgers territory for some years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not, it's not a good look. I feel bad for the players.
Right.
But
just like with the Penn State situation.
With the Penn State situation.
The
but even with the
Penn, had nothing to do with it.
Right. With the Penn State, I feel about as bad as I felt for the Penn State players after everything that happened from Petrino and everything back in the past that affected them right then and there. It's like with the team that's there in Michigan now, y'all were around this. Y'all didn't know what was going on. Y'all supposed to be getting ready for a bowl game against Texas. And
that too.
You have all of this over you, and you still have with it, because it's still the 2-week or 3-week period, I guess, to where they can transfer because their coach is gone. So you did more needs to own up to everything that he did. That's for me. As if you know for a fact you caused all this, and it seems like there's more that's been coming out about the situation with one of the 911 calls was his wife saying that he was suicidal, and they couldn't, and he wasn't answering phone calls. That's when they tracked him down to the church because he was just out there with it. Everything that happened in that, as the reaction for it, dude, take the time, get some help. You need to figure out something. First things first, keep it in your pants. I don't care how beautiful it is. Keep it in your pants.
And he was really playing with fire. I didn't say this last week, but I'm gonna say it now. One of your boss's daughters?
The untouchable mentality.
And that's what we basically been saying the same thing, but that's what but I think I'm talking about it from a different angle because of the fact that I feel like I guarantee you some people knew.
There had to have been multiple people that knew. You can't sit there, as big as that campus is, and as much as, like I said, we in a technology age. There is no way nobody did not know. And that's why
guarantee you she told somebody.
But that's where it comes into the lack of institutional control. That's the issue. Because if they can sit there and say, oh, well, you guys knew this and you covered it up, oh, it's gonna be hell to pay.
Right.
Because you can't sit there and tell me, oh, well, we didn't know everything that was going on. We had heard bits and pieces, but we weren't for sure that it was like that.
And naturally, if you go up to him and ask him, you're like, nah, who said that?
But that's what makes it worse, because they said they opened up an investigation and they closed it almost immediately because of lack of evidence. And then somebody, i.e. the chick, came back and sat there and presented the receipts with the school credit card number issued to him for the Plan B pill. Because she was so hurt that he wanted to abort their love child together that she went and told. Hell hath no fury than a woman scorned. And gee golly willikers, he got scorned. So you can't, so now they're going to sit there and be able to like, wait a minute, so you guys half-heartedly investigated this, found no findings, and then it makes it worse when they find out it's your boss's daughter, because they're going to be like, so have you been around the boss's house with the daughter? If they show anything documenting that the boss knew that something was going on with his daughter and him, oh, done.
Hairline where it is through hims.com. You can explore.
Yeah, because then the question is going to be, so that's why you fired her,
right? Because he messed up. He literally effed over your daughter. Yeah, it's not going to be a good look. No matter how you put it, it's not going to be a good look.
So
That
uh
just
so
damn.
yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, whether I'm a fan of the team or I'm not a fan of the team, we as human beings, man, we gotta get it together.
Gotta do better.
We doing our own thing. Like I always say, yes, there's a bunch of paths to do things, but there's one path that is the one that's going to be more successful than not. It's not a fun one. It's not. It doesn't have much sizzle, but you'll do well to do it that way in the end. Um, you know, and it's hard to do the right thing in the end. It really is.
It
It's
is.
I'm 48 years old. I've done some dumb things in my life, and it's hard to I can attest to how difficult it is, but at the end of the day, you have to do it. I'm going through some stuff now. I'm having to give up stuff, and I'm like, huh? Okay, I guess. So because I'm rejoining church, and church is uh about following the really following things, and they're like, hey, you can ride with us, but you gotta give up this, you gotta give up that,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm giving up so much stuff. I started asking them, I'm like, wait, do I have to give up my video games and my movies? Like, no, those are cool. I'm like, okay, all right, all right. So there's a okay, so we're specifics. Okay, that makes giving up the other stuff a little easier. So I don't want to like open up Pandora's box and go, all right, 1 minute you're giving up a little bit of stuff, and like, that stuff wasn't important anyway, and then you start taking away my entertainment. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's rethink this whole.
Let's let somebody figure this stuff out with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's negotiate here. I mean, I hate to do that, you with the big man and all, but let's not be too hasty. So, but anyway, so yeah, so hopefully these schools will be able to figure things out,
I hope so
and
because it
get the reputation of the school back, because that can affect what kids do and don't come to your school, especially if both their parents or even one of their parents is one of the type of parents that has raised their kids right,
and,
and don't want their kid mixed up in nothing.
and
So
one other thing while we talk about the parents, and I want to make sure I wanted to mention something about it last week, but it we ran over, but I wanted to make sure the situation with the player Legend Bay coming out of Texas that was signed that his parents wouldn't sign for him to go to Ohio State because they wanted him to go to Tennessee, and he signed a letter of intent to go to Tennessee just to basically didn't want to have the fanfare. He didn't want to go there. They were forcing him to, but that's where they wanted him to. And as soon as he turned 18, he went. Tennessee, kudos to Tennessee for understanding it was a no-win situation. Just let the kid go. And they let him out of his letter of intent. He went ahead and signed on with Ohio State. Now he's got a estranged relationship with his parents now because they basically was trying to force him to do something that he had no inkling of that he wanted to do. And
I
he
I get where the parents are coming from, but there needs to be certain situations where it's understood. Just let the kid make the decision.
it's
Um,
this is
and
their first real choice realistically into adulthood.
you got battles that you got to pick. I'm learning this more and more. I learned it with my daughter, and I told you my youngest son is autistic, so
Yeah.
I'm literally having to do it. It's like, dude, pick your battles. Give him some things. He has something that me and his mom want him to do that his siblings on my side of the family have done, and because of how uncomfortable it would make him, he doesn't want to do it, and he doesn't want to tell his mom, and
Mhm.
because he doesn't like to hurt people's feelings, or he doesn't want them upset. So I get why he doesn't want to tell his mom, but like I told him, I said, look, if you really don't want to do this, I'll have your back.
Right.
um I understand. Yes, I also would like you to walk, but if you really don't want to do it, you graduated. Okay. Okay, out.
If you
You know.
if you did the leg work for it and you got the goods for it, you don't want to do the extra, don't force it.
Right.
It is what it is, because a lot of the stuff for the ceremony part of it, when it comes to that, it's more for us than it is for them.
Yeah. And
So, and as long as he's done, as long as he can sit there and say like, I did this, I completed my task, I'm good. Let the kid breathe.
yeah.
That's, I think that's one of the things to where, as a parent, and like I told you with my daughter came back. I can't micromanage all of them.
Right.
So I feel like as a parent, you give them enough to where you hope they make the right decisions with what they've learned from you.
Unfortunately, at the end of the day, that's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
My
So when
daughter
you
is going through. She's going through the motions, doing stuff on her own. She's doing stuff that ain't gonna benefit her. And unfortunately, my granddaughter's along for the ride. And um, but she's aware that she's at least aware that she's not doing things right.
right, and
And I
that's where you sit there. You be like, look, I done told you, I done showed you. If this is what you want to do with it, that's cool. I understand it. But at the end of the day, it's not. After a certain point, one of my biggest mottos when it comes to kids, especially kids that become parents, is the same thing that I could hear my mom in the back of my mind. It was funny because we were all over at my mom's house yesterday, and she's telling my kids stories about me when I was their age. And I mean, all the bad stories. I'm sitting up here just taking the lumps yesterday. But at the end of the day, she came back and she said, when it came to y'all and y'all were born, I told them one thing. It's not about you anymore. It's about them. Whatever you choose is going to affect them. Whatever goals you set aside, it's not going to be your goals. It's going to make things better for them. And unless you don't realize, when you start making some decisions, it could be the fun thing to do. It could be the hip thing to do and everything else. But once you do it, and then you realize, oh well, shoot, because of that, now I'm at risk of doing this and doing this, and then that puts me at risk of doing this with my kid or this with the kid. That's when you start weighing your pros and cons and start moving in a different way with it. A lot of the times, a lot of the kids nowadays have been so focused on themselves that they have kids, and if they haven't learned how to get out of that me mentality when it comes to it, it affects the kids. And the kids ain't asked to be here. That's the one thing to do. The kids, if we're being frank, the kids did not ask to be conceived. They was fine where they were until you did what you did in order to make it happen. They were cool. So now when it's going like that, now it's like, what's going on? So it makes it to where you got to pick and choose your battles. That was the biggest thing when I seen that go back and forth. I coming from dealing with the whole college choice thing a year ago around this time of trying to set up the visits, trying to set up the virtual visits, the conversations, the hard talks, the waiting for acceptance letters and everything that comes with it. At the end of the day, we had a discussion. We sat there and told our daughter, these are your options of where you want to go. Where do you want to go? And she chose where she wanted to go. She made Dean's List in her first semester there. She about doing her work and everything else with it. Sky's the limit. Do what you do. But it's never been where it was when she said she wanted to go to LSU. Okay. She had that in her mind. She wanted to go to LSU. Took the visit, everything else. Only reason why she didn't go, LSU wasn't offering no money. Let's be real. They weren't offering the scholarships and everything else. and they are much more than North Carolina A&T in order to be a student there. A&T did that, and seeing the network and everything that they have built in for it, it's a better fit. It's all about letting the children be able to figure out what they did with what you taught them. And also when it comes to it, learning from our parents' mistakes with us that we had and translating that, not overdoing it, because some parents will sit there and overcompensate. That I've dealt with some of them where I'll be up there like, your kid's soft. I could drop my kid off in the middle of over the Rhine. They know how to get home. Your kid, you drop them off at over the Rhine, they're gonna walk, and then they're gonna sit up there and gonna be like, I can't call it Uber. That anxiety kick in. You can't have anxiety kicking in on 13th and Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work.
Unless you see a bar, matter of fact, unless you see a bar, don't even be on Republic at all.
Exactly.
Or
Like,
Green
no.
Street.
You pick and choose all your battles when it comes to that. Like, no, nope, don't do that. You don't want to be there. Nope, don't want to be over there. Nope, don't do this. All right, so 7:30. This NFL. Oh, did you hear the news today?
DK got suspended for 2 games.
Yep, that's one. Did you hear the other news of the day?
I did not.
So I guess when Kansas City decided that they didn't want to go to the playoffs this year, they just said, you know what? Screw everything. They're leaving Arrowhead. They signed a deal with Kansas to build a dome stadium for them to start playing in 2031. $3 billion dome stadium.
Wow. So what they gonna do until then?
They're gonna be in Arrowhead until then, because I don't think their lease is up until that's a good question, because I thought that their the battle that was going on was that they were offered $1 billion by Kansas City, Missouri, and the Missouri government in order to renovate Arrowhead. And then Kansas came in and said, we'll give you $3 billion to build your stadium here in Kansas City, Kansas. So they might still be in Kansas City, because that's that whole thing with it, that city on the border. They still might be in Kansas City, but instead of being on the Missouri side, they're going to be on the Kansas side with a dome stadium, with the whole premise of, and let's see if this reminds you of anything. The whole premise of within 10 years hosting a Super Bowl in their dome stadium. The Pandora's box of the Super Bowl tied in with cold weather cities and the NFL's ability to try to market it to where it doesn't matter where the Super Bowl is, it's still going to be a cash cow. You're seeing it with Kansas City moving out. Chicago last week talking about they will move into the Indiana suburbs of Chicago to build their stadium, because they keep on running into different things, different aspects of it with it. Cleveland with their publicly funded stadium that's getting ready to get built. That's a dome. 10 years ago, you would have never thought of saying that the Super Bowl is going to be held in Kansas City, Chicago, or Cleveland in February.
See, you talked it up.
What, the Kansas City thing?
Yeah. The little screen, the little screen that shows videos. I have it muted so that I can hear you, but Adam Schefter is talking about it right now.
It's not. You're going a lot of.
And here's another thing about that. You know, the players are gonna get played in this, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. But here's the
gonna
thing.
be like it's gonna be like the NBA is doing with that CBA, and it's like, yeah, we can offer you the money, but that's if we want to give it to you.
But it's getting to a point now to where you have to think about it from this. After all this transition by 2031, the only cold weather teams that are in primarily new stadiums, and when I say primarily new stadiums, I want to say 2010 and after, that's not a dome, would be Buffalo. The Link is before 2010. MetLife is before 2010. Gillette's before 2010. I'm trying to think where else am I looking at? Cincinnati and Green Bay. The NFC North, by the time everything is said and done, that's known as the cold weather beat 'em up type of conference. The only outdoor stadium that they're gonna have in there is Green Bay. It's crazy how this all then turned. So, but it's all about the money. It's all about the market share. It's not about the fans. It's about
and what they can handle and getting more people to come out, because if you know it's gonna be cold, if you know it's gonna be snow on the ground, you ain't gonna want to go nowhere. Now you might be willing to go somewhere if you're gonna be on the inside.
Right. And that's the thing. And this is the other thing that's gonna kill. For so long, you knew Super Bowls was in Miami, Tampa, New Orleans, San Francisco, LA.
Now they're gonna be everywhere.
Texas, Houston, and Dallas. Now, if you got a dome stadium, you in the rotation. How many of them cities that are used to being in a rotation where they had a Super Bowl over the first 60 years of this every 6-7 years, now I gotta wait 20?
Yep.
And that economic goal that you get for it, even that. And then on the other side of it, how does Cincinnati feel now? You just paid, you just signed off on doing the renovations for Paul Brown. And you want Paul Brown to be in there for another 10, 15 years with the renovations that you're doing right now. And none of them was, let's build some type of canopy or augmentation to it to make it to where it's enclosed or indoors. Now you're doing all this investment in a new convention center. You're trying to get everything situated for a new sports arena down there, everything else. And it's not going to really mean anything when the city north of here that already has an NBA team, already has a Major League Baseball team, and has an NFL team, now has a dome stadium where they can host a Super Bowl and you can't. So you get their economic boom for all the conventions and everything else that you can have in that area for it. They can host bowl games during this time frame now. You can't. Depending on the weather. And if the weather's like it is this week, it would be perfect. But you can't host it. So you done handcuffed yourself. Because once again, and I've said this before, when it comes to Cincinnati, we are 10 to 20 years behind the trends. Never fails. So by the time I'm 60, 65, we'll probably be getting ready to build a dome stadium. And then everything by then will probably be virtual. So it'll be where they playing on the field and it's actually a whole 150 million fans in the stands by looking like the WWE dome during freaking COVID, where it was just a whole bunch of faces in there, rah-rah, and everything else with it. And we'll be playing dome stadium like, well, you can see it live in person.
Not Demolition Man.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Shoot, I wish one of the investment things I want to do, like if I could get it, I want to do is that one setup like they got in Dallas to where the whole screen is like IMAX and you literally are sitting at field level watching the game. That'll make a killing. Wait a minute, whose birthday? Who's having a birthday? Who? Text message. Who's having a birthday?
Mm, mm, mm. Well, um, let's see. Is there anything else going on? DK suspension. He's in a no-win situation because he wasn't at home, so the chances of anybody coming to his defense is slim to none.
But they said that the guy has been somebody that he had an incident with when he was with Seattle as well. And the guy followed him to the game. There was a report that he had this same incident, a similar incident with this guy in Seattle last year. And the guy showed up to the game and antagonized him in order to get that out of him this time.
Which would explain why even the analyst said as soon as DK reacted, dude had a smile on his face.
Yeah.
So now he got a 2-game suspension for a guy that's essentially stalking him.
And that's why I'm like, what? Why would you even? First things first, you are in the midst of an NFL game, not an NFL scrimmage, not anything else. An NFL game. There is nothing that a fan can call me and to get me to come over there off the sidelines to where you are, unless you my wife and it's a family emergency.
And now it all makes sense because as soon as he went over there, he tried to grab dude. Well,
Right.
that would explain it.
Right.
He's sitting up here dressed up like he's a Lions fan, and he got that big wig on so that nobody will see his
Who
face.
he is, but DK knew who he was. But this goes into the same thing like we talked with Sharon Moore, the same thing we talk about with everybody else. If you know that person is not about the right and the good and is putting your livelihood at risk, why go over there?
But that was the thing. He had on that big wig. He didn't see who it was until he got over there.
Then I would
And
have turned around and walked away right then and there. We're still in the midst of a game.
right, and then whatever he said, which he said a racial slur. We'll never know because nobody
There
will.
was no record. There's no audio
No,
of it.
nobody will come to his defense, and for some odd reason, they do not keep security people patrolling along there behind the players if for no reason else somebody decide they're gonna run out on the field. There should be security people back there just for that. Let
Right.
alone let alone if somebody trying to call because like in the WWE, for instance, they got people. They may not be actual quote unquote security, but they got people to go, oh hey, no. If the wrestlers go over and they're over there,
They come.
they got people to go, hey, no, sit down, get back in your seat. Um and they got people, they need something like that. And I've been saying it for years that fans have this because of the money that they pay and these businesses sucking up to that fact. That's basically what I call it. If somebody could come in and completely disrespect someone and you don't care, because quote unquote the customer's always right. Don't sit up there and say that you care about the person. You don't. You care about the money more than you care about the person
The
because
person. Yeah.
you will let them walk in and be disrespectful and there's no consequence. Now there has been a couple of stadiums where the message has been sent. You can be a fan and that's fine, but you will not do that and be in our stadium. And I commend those stadiums. It's not all stadiums, but on the high school level, on the college level, there's some places that need to
Tighten up.
tighten up and understand I'm just as human as you. And that's that, like I said, when I talk about Charles Barkley, that literally made him even though I was a fan of the Detroit Pistons, that literally was another thing that made me a fan of him because he got into a lot of trouble because people would throw stuff at him, they would spit at him, they would swing at him.
Yeah.
And he said, look, don't look at me as no role model because I can promise you this. If somebody think that they gonna come at me sideways, and I'm
I'm,
not gonna come back because I'm an NBA player. I'm a human
I'm
being.
still a
I'm
human being.
I'm gonna do to you whatever you do to me. And people vilified him, but and even as young as I was, I understood it. I'm like, he has a point. Now, as long as he's not directly going out starting something and then doing
As
it.
long as you're not doing the Malice in the Palace going into the stands to go beat somebody up. I mean,
Well, that situation, even that one, if we want to be truthful, the fan threw the drink at Ron.
true.
Ron was having fun with Ron was having fun with Wallace, and the fan decided to remind him like, nah, you in Detroit, bro. We back our players. And he threw, and then his drunken stupidity, he threw his drink at Ron Artest, not realizing, forgetting
Ron,
that Ron Artest is crazy. And
he
and
changed his
him
name to Metal World Peace. That should have told you right then and there. The man's off. Just a
he
slight
he
twist midget. He's a
he
little bit
he
off.
he's not going to conform to the customer's always right. He's going to conform to, you just threw a
I'm
drink
about to
at
beat the
me.
brakes off of you.
I,
Dude,
I,
you gotta go.
so yeah, it is it, as the saying goes, it is what it is. Let's see, is there anything else? No, he shouldn't rush that.
Who?
Not at all. No, it's saying that I guess somebody must have asked Robert Sala, does he miss being a head coach? He said, I want to be a head coach again, but I'm not in a rush. And that's perfect because right now where he's at, he is doing great things. He is showing what a defensive coordinator, injuries or not, should do with your defense. Yes, you're missing your star players, but at the same time, you still have to go out there and put forth, get whoever's out there to put forth a good enough defense to help y'all win games. And so yeah,
Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting.
what's up?
It's an NBA story. We can talk about that one a little bit. It looks like Brandon Roy, the former player that's had some success with coaching a high school basketball team out
Yeah.
in Washington State, abruptly was fired as the head coach. That his coaching tenure included 3 Class 3A state titles, and the school sent the announcement earlier this week in a letter from their principal in Seattle, basically saying that the school is beginning a new chapter as it looks to rebuild both the boys and girls programs. You build a new chapter and you won 3 state championships in the past few years. Something don't sound right there, Scooby.
Yeah.
That's I
And
don't
and
know.
and the question is why doesn't it sound right?
And they got a new athletic director that got hired in May. He took
Uh-oh.
over the program in 2017 and immediately restored the Bulldogs to powerhouse status, winning state titles in 2018, 2020, and 2023. And he's an alumni of the school.
Who did he piss off?
I
Who
don't
did
know.
he piss off, or what did he do? Something is missing. I've lived so long that that's why when something comes down, or like if somebody has a like big powerful status, that's why I'm always like, because if
It
you
just doesn't
if
seem
if you listen to enough history, if you pay attention enough to history, which I it's been a while since I've done it, but I used to watch a lot of documentaries, and
Uh-huh.
they would talk about history of people with power, and it's always the same. Uh, People, there are people that know what's going on, but they're not powerful enough to do something about it, or they're just glad to be in the loop of the big of the big popular people and
Right.
the power.
But that
Not
just doesn't, that right there just doesn't, I don't know. I don't know.
some yeah, yeah.
We'll come back to that one because that one's gonna be
As
interesting.
soon as start people start screaming that R word, stuff starts coming out. So just give it time.
Yeah.
The R word will come out. You said Washington State.
Yep. It's in Seattle.
Yeah, yep. I'm sure the R word will come out and somebody will be like, oh yeah, by the way, we didn't want to put this out there, but since y'all putting that R word out there, here's what he did. Um,
Mhm. All right. So NFL this week. Yay. I
yeah.
don't this was, I didn't realize how much the picks was going my way until I messaged you yesterday,
Uh,
and I was like, I'm in the midst of watching my grandma, and I'm like, I got the game up, I'm working on some business stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, have I lost? And I started looking, I said, I haven't lost. The only game I lost was the Thursday night game. What the hell? So that whole thought process of Jay needed to come back, Jay got his comeback. Jeez, oh, peas, did I?
yeah.
It was, and I'm pulling it up now because I want to make sure that I'm not speaking it into existence. I think even with that, we're still tied because I was that far behind.
Maybe on the head to heads.
Yeah, on the head to heads, we're tied now. It
Yeah.
was because it was it. And looking at the games, all right. So, what games surprised you at all this week?
I'm offended that you know how they talk about teams and when they missing people, right?
Uh huh.
Never said that about the Steelers. So it really annoyed me as I'm listening to the game because I went to church on Sunday, so I didn't get to start work until after. So I was still out working. It really annoyed me to find out that apparently there was a big guy in the middle, very good at being a run stopper, um, for the Steelers.
Who? What was missing?
Harmon.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, damn! I didn't even know he was hurt.
Yeah. Well, apparently he just got back. And yeah.
Oh, that makes sense then, because
So so
because
so
they
so
just
that was part of the reason why. And um I respect Dan Campbell, but Jared Goff and I'm not gonna throw Hutchinson in there because his was the way he worded it, it was a fair assessment. But Jared Goff, nah, because there was no level of accountability on that.
nah, it
Talk,
wasn't.
talking about like I don't care what they say, it was a bad call. No, it wasn't. And then he tried to clean it up, going, I know they have a hard job. Stop talking. Now, here's the thing. When those always went down against the defense, nobody from the offense said a word. So I don't want to hear it. And they
Right,
had to give the defense some kind of fairness, seeing that they were making the rules to become more toward the offense. They had to, and they've been doing this for years. Every time they make some changes, they make sure to try to level it out so that defensive players aren't trashing them in the media.
True.
So, and now they've made it nice and fair because now they both, when they see fit, and they're not trying to take accountability for anything. Now they both stress and like, well, at least it's fair. So we'll roll with that. And here's the thing: they kept showing that replay and the replay of the first OPI.
Uh-huh.
Why did you let that man push you into that other guy? Because you were already, he basically took your momentum and
chucked you into the other guy.
and another thing that kind of didn't help it was the direction that the other receiver ran in. They were on a collision course
Of
anyway.
course, yeah, they was on collision. That's why when it happened, I'm like, when I saw it and I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's no way that you guys ran that route. That was a confused. They need to own up and say that the route was confused.
Yeah, but because like I had to tell my son because he was mad about it because he's a Ravens fan, and I said, well, they call OPI. They called a couple of OPIs on the Steelers too. So I mean, it's not like the Lions weren't aware that that the refs during that game was going to be calling OPI. Be on your P's and Q's.
Right. But some of these people, the
But
refs, Detroit can't say anything. Detroit, here's the thing: 15 yards rushing, really,
shut them down because
down.
of this. Harmon basically he shut it down where nothing was coming up the middle, and the
He basically
Steelers
treated it like it was like we say all the time with the from the Goodfellas. Nothing goes down unless I'm in. Nothing.
right,
He shut it
right,
completely down.
and made it to where it looked like old school Steelers
Mm-hmm.
football because they tried to run laterally and it was like a pack of hyenas every time. And so Gibbs couldn't get off. Williams couldn't get off.
Gibbs
Amon
has not
Ross.
gotten off in a couple of weeks. To be honest, Gibbs, I don't know what's going on with Gibbs. I have no idea what's going on with him, but Gibbs has been nowhere near what he was doing 3 weeks
I,
ago.
I think part of that is usage.
I think part of that is usage, and part of that is also, it seems like Campbell, when he was running the plays with it, when he started running the plays, he kept it balanced. He kept it where it was Gibbs and it was Montgomery. It was Gibbs and Montgomery. Have you seen any packages where both of them been in the backfield at the same time? Wasn't that what they were doing last year when they were killing people because you didn't know which one of them was going to come at you?
And wasn't that when Ben Johnson was the OC?
And speaking of Ben Johnson, Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay, first things first. Green Bay needs to be looking for a quarterback.
Been saying it for years.
I know you have, but now I'm on board with it. I don't understand. And this, and I'm not, and like I said, I'm the Bengals season is over, so I'm not tying it into them. But this goes back into the conversation we had about your decision makers that you have there. Mm-hmm. How many wide receivers have they drafted in the first 3 something odd rounds over the past few years?
In the first round, only one. Golden.
Golden is the one, but you didn't got Watson, you didn't got Dobbs, you didn't got I forgot who the other one was. Since Jordan Love's been
Wicks.
Here. Wicks, Dontavian Wicks. Can anybody catch a ball?
And see, that's my thing. Why are they still there?
Because they still on their rookie contracts.
And
It's the cheap play.
because of Colin Cowherd, because you remember when we were talking about there were certain Bengals that, as far as I'm concerned, they would have been gone, and you brought up the rookie contracts. So
Yeah.
so it shocked me when I'm sitting up here and I'm listening to Colin talk, and he goes, Jackson Dart. So Giants, why don't you guys consider trading him and going for Mendoza? And I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, he's still on his rookie contract. Plus, he's not a bad quarterback. Why that I get it. Why let's get a new quarterback instead of fixing the line that has him in and out of the blue tent. Let's get Mendoza and have it where he's in and out of the blue tent because you got another good quarterback if he pans out that way for the Giants, and your offensive line still has him in and out of the blue tent. I don't mind you coming up with things, but you gotta make it make sense, though.
You gotta make it make sense.
Just like the offensive line, Daniel Jones is proving that when you have a line, it doesn't have to be 100% better. It can be 60, 70% better.
70% better. As long as it's better than what the heck it was there before. That's
And
all. That's the whole thing.
part of the reason why the Colts had that great record, and I'm sure injuries was a part of the reason why it kind of went sideways. But um, because everybody has been suffering the injury bug,
Yeah.
and but it made me laugh when he was like, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's trade Jackson Dart. He can find a home," which is true. Now the question is will he be okay with who you call yourself trading him to? Because the problem is where you gonna trade him to. If you
Jackson
trade
Dart. The
if you
only
tra-
place you can trade Jackson Dart to that his that play style would fit the way that they are built, and they're not built in order to sustain him is Vegas.
right. Um Now in terms of places that could use a future quarterback, and that's what tripped me out about him. He was
Ooh,
he was saying 8 teams needed quarterbacks. No, it's more than that. Um, it's
mm,
way more than that. Um,
really?
because
You would
yeah,
think that?
yes. As much as I
We'll
love,
go through it. We'll add that into it as we go through our picks for this next week as well, because that every team's playing, so it makes sense to have that in there for it. I don't know.
when I say every team, unfortunately, there's definitely more than 8. Tennessee is fine.
Do you think Tennessee fine? Yeah, they just got Ward. They ain't coming off of him unless he just totally wets the bed. But he
Right.
actually
And
looked
and
good
and
yesterday.
yeah, and as they get that line better, and obviously they got run game. So the line is not bad. So he needs a little more fine tuning. This is his first year. Let's see if he continues to improve because obviously he's improved since that rant he went on, basically calling out the whole team, which I
Yeah,
still say is just a beautiful thing, just because of how the season has seemed to materialize. Um, uh, so kudos to him for standing up and doing that and clearly getting some people's attention because that after that all of a sudden you were reminded, oh yeah, Pollard was a good running back, and stuff like that. But yeah, it tripped me out, and I'm telling you, this is going to become a thing. This is definitely going to become a thing. Now, here's my only issue with saying that you got to get rid of Love. As much as I want to put stuff on him in terms of being able to handle pressure, obviously that line is not, especially if you're gonna make, especially if they make him Jacobs. It's time for Jacobs to go to a backup role or be gone completely. That's another thing that's hurting Love. Let's be fair. because if they had if Jacobs was more consistent and
But he's been hurt. That's the thing. He's been
and
hurt.
and that's why I'm saying maybe it's time for him to take a backup role because you constantly hurt. We and to the point to where you can't get through the line, so we giving up on the running game. We putting everything on Love, and we already know if you ain't doing nothing, then that means that they gonna stay on him, and he gonna have the happy feet. And what do? Is yeah, we have Wilson, but we don't feel like Wilson is going to do it enough to put Wilson in front of you to help Love. So and then
But see that also
for
ties
Christ's
into
sakes, if these dudes got issues catching the ball, same thing in Pittsburgh. I commend Aaron Rodgers for putting up with Mitchell and
man.
Austin. But you see what it looks like when he gets some people that can catch the ball, that know exactly what he wants. That's
Mm-hmm.
another reason why it's looking better. They should have brought Scanling out weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they brought Thielen out before they brought Scanling out, which had me scratching my head. And but bottom line, he's out. So Washington, he don't spend that much time out on the field, especially not as much as Austin and Mitchell. So him, I can give a little grace. Plus, he's 300 pounds. It's like that's
Even with that, he at least he's actually catching the ball.
right. He's more consistent than the other two. Yes. And that's why I said I can give him a little grace when he unfortunately makes a mistake. If he was able to handle being out on the field more, I'm sure he would be way better and more of a nightmare of a problem. Him and Fryermuth and DK and Thielen and Scanling, which I'm guess it's good that they got Scanling and Thielen because which you're not really being able to completely trust Calvin Austin and Mitchell, you're gonna have Fryermuth, Thielen, Scanling, and then Washington may have to be in a little more and get some catches, which means he's gonna have to make sure he's not fumbling the ball, which hopefully will help with that, seeing that he'll be spending more time out there.
Right.
Um, so yeah. Uh, but Pittsburgh could use a quarterback if they don't believe in Howard. Um, Seattle, we don't know how long how long do y'all plan on sticking by um la, 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 la. Oh my God, really? Uh Seattle could use one. We don't know how long Stafford's gonna be around. So
Everybody
they could use a quarterback, and he's coming behind Stafford. That's an excellent way. That's an excellent way to learn from Stat.
they'll get a veteran trying to come out from somewhere. I don't think they'll draft. That smart way would be to
Eventually,
draft.
that's it. At this point, there's nobody left. There's honestly nobody left. Eventually, these teams are going to have to
Draft and build.
fix the way they draft. And
Yeah.
it's going to have to include the quarterbacks. You're not going to be able to use veterans forever. Tampa Bay could use one. I I like
That
Baker. I
slide is
respect Baker, but
that slide is amazing. 1-6 in your last 7,
and they do it every year. And part of it
but it's
is
never been this early.
yes, it has.
But yeah, it has. But
Yeah, because remember they did the same thing because Atlanta was a last two games.
Jesus, yeah, you're right. Jesus Christ.
Atlanta was their last two games and they fumbled them both. And this is going to not look good for Todd Bowles. This is not going to look good for him and his job security. But I appreciate the fact that he called them out. Now, clearly, it didn't completely work out because it's Carolina game they lost. But at least calling them out in terms of y'all got to do better. The coach can only do so much. I can put you in the right position. I can show you the film, but I can't make you go out there and play.
Yeah.
And they can't. Just like we talked about last week. They can't make everybody a boss at a job can't make you want to come in motivated to work if that ain't where your head is at. If you just there for the money, the boss is not going to be able to reel you in. It's a sad, unfortunate fact. And it's what us regular people have in common with them players. There's a lot of mental stuff that goes on. Yeah, even at a regular job, somebody walk in, you doing food service, somebody walk in mad about something, mad about their day, or mad because even though you was a cashier, the sandwich person messed up their sandwich. They taking it out on you. You technically are not supposed to react. But I got emotions. I got at home problems.
Yeah. But it's just like
My patience is only gonna go so long,
so long. It's only gonna go so long to where you like, man, what the heck? What why? Why are we doing this? Why?
especially if I'm dealing with customers doing that, and then the people I work with because they got whatever problems or they mad that they at the job that they applied to and they took the job as much as it was given to them, and then they mad because they hate the job, then quit. Don't take that out on me. I didn't do nothing to you. I ain't got
Right.
to.
And they take it out. It's just like it's kind of
It's a whole level of ridiculous. Let's just facts is facts. Quit trying to put that C word common sense in with everything and judging people by that. And because all you doing is you're mentally torturing yourself both as a human being as a fan. These people are just as human as us. And then the worst thing is they make more money. So and that could play into how they deal with things and how they think through things. Whether you want to fully understand and accept that or not.
and I don't think anybody wants to. I think they want to just play the blame game because it's easier instead of taking some type of accountability for it. That's one of the biggest parts of it. I think that's a large part of it.
Accountability is a mother, man, and uh, it's not something that should be um undervalued, especially when you have people that are actually taking accountability. Hold on a second. I need to. Where are my cough drops? My bad. Oh, there they are. Good. Um, um, so, but yeah, who else could use a quarterback? We know Miami could use a quarterback. Uh, well, it depends on how yours develops. I take that back because they got two that they need to test out, and yours initially didn't look that bad
Yeah.
for his first start. So
He,
there might be some potential there. So I scratched that. Not Miami, not Miami, not Houston, Tampa Bay, yes. Because eventually Baker it's gonna be time to move on from Baker eventually. Uh, Sam Darnold, the name I couldn't think of earlier. My bad, Sam. Uh, oh, we don't know how long they're gonna be willing to stick with him, especially if they're getting into the playoffs, but they're not getting all the way there. We know what Sam Darnold's capable of. I mean, we know what Dart's capable of. What would he be capable of if he had a offensive line better than the one with the Giants? And obviously, wow, that wasn't a carry.
No, they don't call carries in the NBA anymore.
So I'm gonna show you what Mitchell did. He bounced the ball, brought it up over the head of the defender, bounced it again, and then shot it. Hold on, let me rewind that back
Oh,
and make
they're
sure.
gonna call that a gather. They're gonna call that a gather
Let me make sure because
because that's kind of it's like a de facto Euro step, which is crazy. They're gonna call it a gather. As long as his hand didn't go completely up underneath the ball when he cupped it over it, then they're not gonna call it a carry. It's
okay.
it's stupid, but it does work. That's a definite. It's stupid, but it does work.
All right. All right. My bad. I got off track there. So they don't need one in Dallas.
All right. So speaking of which, with that pick, first game, Dallas and Washington. That Washington kind of needs one as a backup, just in case their quarterback stays hurt again this season. But no, they're not gonna pick another one. Then Dallas doesn't need one, but Dallas is gonna have a high draft pick, and if it's somebody flashy, Pavia, they might do it just because Jerry likes the drama. Joking.
You know what? According to his statement he just made, I am very interested to see what he does going forward because he did eventually do what everybody kept screaming for him to do. So that mixed with I'm actually he might actually make me come out of retirement. But I'm because despite what was said, I think Schottenheimer is it. But
Yeah.
I do think that he needs to let Schottenheimer cook. You know, if it obviously he got the money, you still gonna be involved. But listen to the man. It is you guys are not last in the league, partially a big part because of him. Listen to the man. You gave him the job. Let him coach. Let him be a part of the drafting process. Let him hear his suggestions of who he thinks would be good fits and
Yeah.
why, and let him really have a say in the team that he's gonna have to coach at the end of the day, and his job's gonna be dependent on it. So, Dallas, Washington. Um, I know they just lost to the Chargers, but I trust Dallas more than I trust Washington right now.
I think everybody trusts Dallas more than they trust Washington right now. Washington just looks like they're just trying to play out the string.
Well, they went and paid players, older players that were, especially on defense. I'm still scratching my head. They kind of, although they did the same thing in they did the same thing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Pittsburgh shored up because they already had an older defense. They went defensive heavy to try to shore it up and fill in their gaps there and try to go youthful on offense.
Right. So, definitely Dallas.
Yeah, I'm
Dallas on that
taking
one. Who we got next?
Detroit at Minnesota. I'm taking Detroit, but
Yeah,
my patience is worn thin because it's just because hearing that yesterday saying that Detroit has to win out and Green Bay has to lose out in order for Detroit to make the playoffs because with their loss Chicago clinched, it's not looking good for Detroit, and it's you're going to start to have
well,
you're going to start having to ask the questions: was the coordinators what got them there, not the head coach? Yes, his philosophy, his gambling got him there, but was it Glenn and Johnson that got them to the precipice as they was instead of there? And that's going to be a hard knock against Campbell.
yeah. And especially seeing that he decided to hire in house.
Right.
Um, now I put them in the same spot that I put uh, San Francisco because we always got to wonder what would they have been if their defense could stay healthy.
This is also true. Yeah. Yeah.
And San Francisco got rid of people. They didn't get rid of all of them, but
But you lost Warner. You lost who I forgot who else they lost.
Ufunga.
Ufunga. You lost a few mainstays on that defense. They still winning. They still got a chance to be the number one seed out the
But
West.
they still having problems keep staying healthy.
Yeah. It's not that's why they're one injury away of being a 5 seed and having to host a game and then go on the road. No, take that back. A 5 seed goes on the road because they won't win their division. So, yep, that sucks. But
Yeah.
Detroit just, I don't. It's like, how do you get? I'm in, and
That center, I don't know if they pissed that center off, but that center waiting until after the draft to announce his retirement. That's
threw
another
them
thing
completely
that
off. Yeah, I will say that one. That one threw them completely off.
I was like, good Lord, man. And they're still trying to recover from it, and it's just not working. And the offensive line, just like last year, they're down to like their last tackles and stuff like that. You shouldn't be hearing that during the game.
Mm-mm.
The game started, and whoever started has been in the injury. It has been in the tent. They on the sidelines trying to figure out if they could get back in because of whatever injury. And it's like, good God. So that's a big part of it. That part might actually save his job a little bit. I mean, because he can't control injuries, but why don't they know what they have to the point to where they can scheme it, put them in the right spot?
Damn.
What's up?
I just went because I wanted to check. I wanted to check what St. Brown did for like my fantasy yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I'm into the championship in one. I lost the other one in my family one. I'm
Okay.
up by 3 with McCaffrey still left to play, and that person played out all the way. I'm looking at that person's bench that if they would have just made swaps. This is how awkward yesterday was. If I gave you these names, Debo Samuel, Josh Allen, uh Brandon Aubrey, Trey McBride, Aquaman St. Brown, and Jackson Dart. How many of them players do you think scored less than 10 points fantasy yesterday?
Um, Aubrey and McBride. So two.
All of them.
Wow.
I won. I'm winning this game. I had Jackson Dart as my starter. He got me 2 points. Josh Allen was who I was going up against. Josh Allen got 6.9 points yesterday.
Well, yeah, because they took
They was killing them.
they took a no, they took notes from Chicago, and they
Mm-hmm.
mostly ran the ball. It's like you can't get to Josh if we ain't throwing.
Man, and you know what? And I will say this also as we go through this. Prayers up to Jenkins. When I
Yeah.
saw the injury, I knew it was bad. But when the report came out after the fact, what is up with Cleveland and their starting running backs and their catastrophic injuries? He's not going to be back until 2028, realistically, because they said he dislocated his ankle, broke his fibula, and tore ligaments in his knee, all on the same tackle. Chubb, anybody? And he was churning. And it to see that they won't, you know, it's bad when they tell you we're not going to show you the replay. So then you go hunt, and then you see the replay, and you like, I see why you didn't want to show the replay. Yeah, it was. That's probably that one, and Ertz's injury was probably two of the worst ones I didn't see this year. And Ertz's was more of a fluke, and Ertz bothered me because that's similar to what happened to my knee. So seeing that bend back and knowing exactly what had happened as soon as I saw it, and then looking at Judkins with his, and it was like I wouldn't even, as a Cincinnati fan that hates Cleveland, I still no. So I felt the same way as I did when it came to Chubb. Like, y'all, that's something to where I don't wow. And he had been durable up until that point, and just to see that happen, that was crazy. And speaking of knee injuries, next game, Denver at Kansas City.
Denver.
I'm taking Denver. Kansas City honestly might have double-digit losses this season. Especially now that Minshew, I was gonna send you the meme, but I was like, I'm not gonna do it because I'm not gonna kick them while they're down. Somebody put up a meme saying, when Gardner Minshew scoots up to Mahomes in the infirmary, and it was Forrest Gump scooting up to Lieutenant Dan with the ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Matter of fact,
I
I
saw it and I was like, no, 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 I can't do it. I just left it alone. We're gonna kick them while I can't kick Kansas City while they're down, except for a little bit. And then no sooner as I saw that one was when they announced about the
what the thing I don't understand is how do you go from Carson Wentz to Minshew?
because Minshew actually won games. Minshew was a starting quarterback. Did start some games for Vegas last year. I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, and he also won some in Jacksonville. And as soon as the line went left, he stayed down.
Yeah, that's why it's like
Same thing with Indianapolis. He won in Indianapolis. Soon as the line went
went
left,
left.
he
He went
stayed
down.
down. That's why he's a journeyman. That's part of the reason. Part of the reason why people don't believe in him and they forget that little tidbit of information. Like, no, he's a pure pocket passer. He's not scrambling. He's staying in the pocket. So the OC has to make sure that he's calling plays that Minshew can hurry up and get the ball out.
Yep, and it most of the time it works.
And that was another thing that helped Alabama. Speaking of, I hate to jump back into it, but whether it was a college or whether it was the pros, I'm tired of watching these games where you know the quarterback ain't got time, but yet you calling all these plays, sending
You call it 5 and 7 step drops.
five, you calling 5 and 7 step drops. You telling the receivers to go way out. Like, why are they going way out? He don't have time to wait on them to get into their break way downfield. They need to get into their break somewhere not too far away from the line of scrimmage. Or don't send everybody. Don't send most of them.
No, they gonna send
Send
everybody. Everybody run. Everybody run. Say everybody run. Everybody go.
He's sitting up here like Ty Simpson. I remember one play, he was sitting up there patting the ball, and I'm like, throw it, hurry up and throw it, because I see what's going on around him, and he too busy looking downfield, waiting for them to go into their break, and it's like, and as soon as they cut that out, what happened? All of a sudden, Bama came back,
Yeah. As soon as
and
they got to the point to where they was like, nah, we about to do this.
so. And he definitely better make sure that against Indiana and anybody else they play in this tournament, yo, you got 2 seconds. Get that ball out.
What the
One,
hell?
1,000, 1,000.
Thousand go.
And apparently there was a suspension for the Chargers. Um Perryman got
Oh
in trouble.
yeah. For they said he violated something. I didn't see what he did.
Helmet to helmet with Ryan Flournoy for Dallas.
Oh, that's what they. Oh, they okay. So that wasn't his first. That
No,
wasn't his first one that he got called for.
nah, remember he got in trouble for it with on Chase in
Yeah,
2023.
yeah, yeah.
So he has a history of it. So
He has a
he
pathological reason for hitting people very, very hard.
yeah, so which naturally Harbaugh being the person that he is came to his defense and said that
It's BS.
he's he he feels like he's doing a bit better job of trying not to. Which obviously, if this is his first suspension since 2023, you can't really argue with that. But there was something that made it. My question is if he hasn't had one since 2023, why does he get suspended the last 2 games of the season? I could see one game.
Unless they reprimanded him or they gave him a warning because they saw something in a previous game where they was like, "Hey, look, stop,
You know
stop
what? You know what? Because it does say citing repeated violations of
violations." I think they
playing
saw
rules
something.
intended to protect the health, including during the. Okay, so yeah. Like you said, they saw something. Yeah.
The hell?
Um. mm. But yeah, so I picked Dallas.
Yep, you got no, you got Denver over.
Oh yeah,
You got
Denver.
Dallas, Detroit, and Denver, the three Ds on Christmas. I say on Thanksgiving, on Christmas.
Okay.
How does Dallas get a Thanksgiving and a Christmas game? Get the hell out of here. All right.
Jerry Jones, baby.
Whatever.
Jerry Jones.
What?
You gotta have $1 billion play
Yeah,
pen.
you gotta have the man that comes in with a presidential escort to every game that he drives up to. And especially he gonna be in Washington, D.C. on Christmas. You know he gonna drive up with a bigger motorcade than Trump. Then Trump's gonna sit there and say I need bigger cars. I need a bigger beast. All right, first game of the flex games. Arizona at Cincinnati.
Hmm. Good God Almighty. Um, Cincinnati.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals. Next game.
Yeah.
Baltimore at Green Bay. Now, injury updates. It is a severe contusion to good old Lamar Jackson's back. He's day to day. And I don't know if Love will be out of the concussion protocol. So we could have Travis
You will.
Huntley.
They haven't been paying attention to that concussion protocol
No, that's
because
how they got hit. That's how they got Higgins.
well with the quarterbacks they haven't been paying attention to it because I remember Jackson Dart especially he went
Yeah.
in for concussion protocol even after the incident that we saw Dabo get eventually get himself in trouble for it. And he was in the next game. So they are selective at how they pay attention to that concussion protocol, and you're supposed to miss 2 weeks, um the next 2 weeks. So, and especially right now, if your team has a chance to be in the playoffs, oh yeah, everybody is gonna have convenient amnesia when it comes to that rule. It is what it's gonna be what it's gonna be between the player and the team as a whole. Even if they pull a um like the quarterback for Miami did. He went through his situation. It's like, yeah, we're leaving it up to Tua. Tua wants to come back. He wants to play. He doesn't want to wear any protection. He doesn't want to wear any protection, but he wants to act like he's scared to get hit. Understandably, but at the same time, maybe if you wore some of that protection, maybe you wouldn't be so in fear of taking a hit. Or maybe if you had retired, like I suggested, and maybe took a role um, with the team that allowed you to still be in the game, involved in the game you love, even though you couldn't be out there anymore. You could have also done that. But I digress. Everybody has a right to make their own decisions. It is what it is, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, uh, uh, Green Bay and Baltimore. Even if it's Huntley, I got a real sneaking suspicion that Baltimore is going to be capable of pulling out this game
I,
because that defense.
it's there, but then it has lapses like it had yesterday against where they don't want to tackle like they did at the end of the game against New England. So it's like I can't part this game. This is my game of where it's like I don't trust neither of you, but I gotta pick one of you.
Yeah,
And I'm going with Green Bay just because you had a game one and you didn't run your running back that was gashing them for the last 17 minutes of the game. He didn't play in the fourth quarter.
and then okay, so here's the thing, because I had a theory before I saw the part of the interview with Harbaugh. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with some people online about it. They were wanting to avoid the fumble in the fourth quarter and ended up getting it anyway.
Man, you cannot.
How you and dude did and the guy that did it, kudos to him because you don't see a lot of plays like that anymore. Where
Speaking of that,
some
speaking of that shit, I asked you this question yesterday. I'm sorry to cut you off. I asked you this question yesterday, and I still, in looking up the rules, have not got a definitive answer. How the pardon my language, everybody in America, how the fuck was that not a fumble by Mark Andrews? How was that not a fumble? He chucked it like this. He was spinning downward. He lost control of the ball. And you go sit there and say, illegal forward pass. No, no. This was not.
yeah,
We
and
were not.
I was listening to it. I wasn't watching it, so yeah, I heard, but
I'm like,
I
how?
need to see the play. And speaking of plays, was there a play in the fourth quarter before all that stuff with the OPI where Jared Goff had two people open and for some odd reason didn't throw to him because
Yep,
my
yep, yep. It was. That's when I turned it off. That's when I turned it off and went to start eating dinner because I was like, "What were you doing?" I mean, blatantly wide open in his eye view, just in his eye hole, and he didn't throw it. I don't. This
which
this
which
season,
which which makes what he said even more egregious. Because as far as I could tell from listening to the game, the only times that he threw the ball away was when he was under pressure. But and my son was adamant. He's like, Dad, like even my friend, even my friend who had it pulled up on his phone, even he saw it, and I'm like, okay, so clearly there there must have been some part of it that I must have missed
something was not in
in
there,
listening. So so there was a play where he had two people open that he could have thrown to,
and he threw the ball away. And it was like, what are you doing? It legit was, what are you doing?
and he said there was nobody around him, there was nobody pressuring him. He was pulling a Sam Darnold. He was seeing ghosts.
Yeah, and that's what I think it was.
Which even if they were close to him,
So wait a
and
minute. So, okay, so you don't be. I'm sorry. I had to look it up. So they're saying, so pretty much, if you fumble a ball, which this makes no sense whatsoever. If you fumble, they said Mark Andrews' bizarre lateral pass wasn't ruled a fumble because he threw the ball forward, making it an illegal forward pass or illegal forward throw, not a
right.
fumble, which resulted in a penalty against the Ravens instead of a turnover, confusing broadcasters and fans with the NFL rules where forward passes hit the ground are incomplete. So here's my question though: if you have a running back that's running upfield and they get cracked and the ball goes forward, what's to say a team can't sit there and if there's another player in the vicinity of it, can't sit there and throw a red challenge flag and say that wasn't a fumble, that was an illegal forward pass. We'll take the penalty.
Because he wasn't because he wasn't passing it like you said. He was running with the ball and then he got cracked.
But that's the thing. If you look at Andrew's play, he was going down to the ground getting tackled, and he looked like he discus threw it, like the ball because he was getting twisted. The ball went forward. It wasn't a set like trying to throw it like that. It was a jerky move with that. So how can you constitute that as being a forward pass if it wasn't in a throwing motion?
He can only go by what he sees and try to figure out and define quick and to the point
But
of
that's the
what
whole
it
point of
was.
having what's because that's the whole point of having New York with the play for it. Because if you look in real
But you
time,
can't use them all the time because eventually if you start using them all the time, then what'll happen is you
they
still go,
chimed in.
yeah, no.
That's why I'm like, they're good. And you look at it, I'm looking
They
at it
still
right
gonna
now.
get it wrong. They still gonna get it wrong, and people still gonna blame Vegas. And I don't know if you saw my face, but you know what? I'm about to do a hot take. Get rid of refs. Get rid of the refs.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the excuses because now even Skip Bayless is on here, is online talking about some. I would not have called offensive pass interference on St. Brown. Didn't gain any advantage.
Whatever. He
Um,
ran right into him and pushed him and then turned around.
just let him play. That was the second OPI on the last ditch drive that cost Detroit a TD. Maybe the NFL wants Aaron Rodgers in the postseason.
And this is why I don't give none of them motherfuckers no credit. None of them. Because they spin conspiracy theories instead of just calling it a spade a spade. He has never stepped foot out there on the
And
field.
then RG3 is just as stupid. The way the Detroit Lions lost is exactly why every play should be reviewed. Reviewed for what? He committed it.
I'm sorry. Last
Even
time
the
I checked,
analyst that night said he did push off.
the rule is there can be incidental contact within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Then they had just got an OPI that pushed them back 15 yards.
Yeah.
So him running 15 yards and shoving somebody in the end zone
Extending his arms like he's not
in a
supposed to
push,
do.
in a push. If they did it during the game and he would have called it, they would have said touchdown. They was like, that's blatant offensive pass interference. He pushed off.
They did it to DK, remember?
Yes. That's why I'm like, what?
And as soon as DK saw the flag, the cameras made sure they saw his face. Like, oh no.
So it's like, wait, how? So last time I checked, they tell you when they are fighting, when you've seen the OPIs, they sit there and say, if you pushing you in this area for it and y'all head fighting, it's cool. It's that full extension is what gets the call for it. He shoved, as much as I cannot stand Jalen Ramsey, he shoved Jalen Ramsey like I would shove Jalen Ramsey out in the street. And then for me, the part of it that doesn't make any sense to me was you did that. You know you needed a touchdown. You came back out the end zone and caught the ball short of the goal line with two players around you. Because I know when you shoved, you turned,
he
you
had
saw the
to.
other guy right there.
Well, he had to, because that would have been an interception had he not came back out. That, yeah.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah.
Yeah. He had to come back out and come to the ball. He
But
did
Jesus
exactly
Christ,
what
give
you're
yourself a
supposed to
chance to
do.
score.
You're supposed to come back to the ball. If yeah, but yeah, that right there is like and then you still going, if it gets reviewed, what are they going to review? There's nothing that, and I'm sure that's the reason why why the people in New York said it's not being
Okay,
reviewed.
I
It
got you.
can't be reviewed. It wasn't that it couldn't be reviewed. It could clearly be reviewed, but it was definitely offensive pass interference. Game over.
Yeah, and I when I saw it, I was like, they can't get mad about it.
But
Because I thought because I thought they had called it against Ramsey until I looked and I was like, nope, that's OPI. It's game over. And they kept on saying, well, he pitched the ball back and Goff got the touchdown. No, it's not. It doesn't matter.
And how in God's name? Now this I will not give Dan Campbell a pass for, because I believe this is at least the second or third time that I've heard him say this. How is there a rule in the NFL that you are not aware of after a loss?
How many coaches have you heard them say, I wasn't aware of this rule after a loss? That's a scapegoat thing.
Well, no, because there was some instances where, like the tuck rule, it's like, yeah, no, everybody saw it in the bylaws at the beginning of the season, but since it hadn't been called all season, they forgot about
Nobody
it.
knew. Nobody cared.
Everybody forgot about it. Not that one, but this particular rule has been around since my younger, like single digit days. So even I know it. If it's on the defense, the offense will be given another chance. But if it's on the offense, game over.
Yeah. Because how many offensive penalties, if the clock is not running, that they give a 10-second runoff on? So it's like you can't you can't pick and choose when they start figuring out what the rules are for certain things. You can't sit there and just be like,
And that's why I say you would just be better off getting rid of the refs. That way people will quit with the excuses, but then they're gonna be mad because players are gonna be out there blatantly cheating.
oh shit, I thought that was for real. This is stupid.
Like oh, speaking of non-calls, and this one actually was a horrible non-call that occurred during the Patriots game.
Which
I'm
one
sure
was
I'm sure you know the play I'm talking about. During the Patriots game, the one on Booty. How do you not call defensive pass interference?
I gave up. I gave up after that. I turned it, I had it to where I was keeping track of what was going on my phone after I saw that. Because you tackle him, he still catches the ball, and you while he's laying on top of you because you tackled him, you
It
swat the
ba-
ball out of his hand.
yeah, it bounced off his chest and he started to catch it and dude quickly went, I didn't do anything. He literally started looking around like, dude, I didn't do anything.
And they did not call it because they said it was incidental contact. Okay, incidental contact is tackling somebody without the ball.
Now that
Oh,
and this is why I don't completely give him a pass because it be some times where it's like, okay, you deserve whatever criticism you get for that one because there was a referee right there. All of them are incidental contact. Why do you call it at all?
it's like as soon as I seen it, I just was like, I can't even. I can't even sit there and say what came to mind on some of these. A lot of these games was thrown away. Now, luckily, New England came back and ended up winning that game. But think if that
Right.
would have cost New England that game,
Mhm.
Vrabel would have lost his mind in that press conference, and it would have been, and he would have been in the right. And all you would have got was, and looking at the rules, that was in the concept of being pass interference. So, yeah, we understand what's going on, and it is what it is. It is what it is. That's all it would have got. And it would have been like, what the heck?
Acknowledgement after the fact is not. Are you gonna get him to win?
Right. It's not changing the result.
You
It's
know,
a my bad.
right. Just like with the Super Bowl with the Seattle and Pittsburgh sitting up there. Well, yeah, we look back at it, and our refs definitely did put Seattle at a disadvantage unless you're getting ready to give them a Super Bowl championship and some rings. What was the point of bringing this up years after the fact, bro? Anybody that is honest that watched that game, they know what you did. And I was upset that Jerome Bettis got his ring that way because he was a hell of a player and deserved to go
Yeah.
out with a ring, but not like that. The same with the whole Seattle versus the Patriots. I would have rather them stopped beast mode on the 1 yard line.
Instead of throwing a bullshit ass pass. God damn. You're not about to get me on started on that one. All
Right.
right, next game. Vegas Giants at Vegas. Ugh.
I know, right? That's the way that's basically should have been our theme for the last few weeks for
Ugh.
over half the season.
Ugh.
Giants and the Raiders. Wow. Raiders showed some moxie, but I don't know.
I'm going Raiders. I did because the Giants yesterday just looked like a rudderless ship. It was just like, what we gonna do? We gonna go over here? Okay, we gonna go over here. 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 I'm like, Dart don't look like nothing like he did at the beginning of the season.
He's not going to.
Their running game sucks.
Yeah.
Their receivers can't catch. And then they said like they ran the ball. The crazy thing about that game was they said that they ran the ball like I want to say like 17 or 18 times to start the game and wasn't getting shit. They weren't even passing. So it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, I got Vegas.
Mm. Mm.
Still debating.
Unfortunately. Um. Yeah. I guess I'll go with the Raiders. I guess. Mm.
Now, I'm pissed because I know Genty had a great job against that Houston defense yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that puts me in a bind because the next game is Houston at the Chargers. And
Mm.
I can't trust Houston's defense got me 14 points yesterday. With the touchdown, 3 sacks, and the interception. They got me 14 points. But you still gave up to Genty, what was it?
A 50-yard catch and a 50-yard run.
So that makes me wonder, like, okay, the Chargers offense looked like they were clicking against Dallas, including their running game.
Yeah, but the defense that Houston's gonna be bringing is way above.
Dallas's.
Yeah, and then that's gonna be the other thing that Stroud is gonna have to worry about because the chart, even though they're gonna be short a man, um, the Chargers defense is not exactly a slouch either.
Mm-mm.
So, hmm.
So then that comes to: do you trust Herbert and their attack versus or Stroud and his?
Who's gonna be where?
They at the Chargers.
Mm. Wow. I I hate these teams. They don't give you much to work with.
No, and the
Um
parity is incredible right now.
um because I don't know what shape that the Hmm. Who's Houston's running back right now?
Chubb, because
Mm,
the other running back was out. I think it was either with an illness or he had got hurt.
mm. Um and Vidal is spotty.
Vidal's hurt. I think Vidal is hurt. We
So
double
who's they
check. What's we call it? Armarian. What's we call it?
Amari and Hampton?
Yeah, he's back.
Gotcha. Um Hmm. I guess. And what's his face is scrambling. He's scrambling really hard. Chargers. My bad. Trying to speed these decisions up, but they just the way the
You
season
got
has
to
gone,
think
they haven't
about it.
made it easy.
I'm taking the Chargers. The only reason why I'm taking the Chargers is that I just don't trust Stroud.
Plus
This
they
is a
both
toss up one.
yeah, plus they both 8-2 in the conference.
Right.
It's like how y'all pull that off. Y'all both second in y'all divisions. Technically, the Chargers are leading them by one game because they're 11 and Chargers are 11-4 and they're 10-5. And and then y'all both popping off where y'all. Although I am a little confused about something.
What?
Oh well, I guess so. If the Broncos lose another game and it comes down to the division, and it comes down to the division, uh, the Chargers would end up taking the
Taking the
division
division
title.
because they beat. I think they beat Denver both games heads up.
They did because they're undefeated in the division. So yeah, give me the Chargers. Who's next?
Seattle at Carolina.
Oh, holy mother of God!
Darnold goes back to Carolina. That was the start of his resurrection tour.
Yeah, and I knew that he was getting kicked out of. I knew he was getting kicked off the Jets because there was a player that he called out for accountability, and the person was a starter, and I said, "Yeah, he ain't gonna last long with the Jets doing that." And sure enough, they shipped him to Carolina. Uh-oh. Oh, that's what happened.
What happened?
Uh, the Bote caught Darton with a forearm to the face.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was running by and he had his arms up, and I just happened to look up after Darton had already went down, and they showed the replay when Diabote was going through. He had his arms up, and caught him right in the face. And he must be gushing because he got a towel to his nose.
Mm.
Oh, not Darden, Hunter. My bad. Um, so yeah. Who are the next teams? My bad.
Who'd you pick, Seattle or Carolina?
Um, ew, ew. I'll go with Seattle.
Carolina. Think this might be Carolina's time to shine. I think Young has finally turned that corner to where he's going to be somewhat decent. A lot of those quarterbacks that came out in that draft, it seemed like it's turning to where they're getting to where they're somewhat decent.
And who knew? You give them a line and you give them some run game so that you're not putting everything on them. My
Yeah.
God, who
All right,
knew?
next one. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Uh,
Pittsburgh.
yeah, I hate to say it. I had to pick them. New Orleans at Tennessee.
Mm. Mm.
I know Tennessee looked good, but New Orleans the past few weeks has looked better. They're starting to finally seem like they starting to get some type of identity about themselves.
Mm-hmm. Uh, guess I'll go with New Orleans.
I picked New Orleans as well. Jacksonville at Indianapolis.
Mm. So sad that whole thing had to come to an end for Daniel Jones. I was so entertained and enjoying that. But I think Jacksonville's gonna put it away. They're feeling themselves. Although DeForest Buckner is back, so it will be interesting tonight to see how that defense plays against the 49ers, which could impact that Jaguars game. Speaking of, good Lord. So, so yeah, Jags.
Yeah, I picked them too. Jacksonville's been on one. All right. Tampa Bay at Miami.
Mm, mm, this is a whole lot of horrible. Nice. And of course, they had to make it a difficult. Mm, interesting. Give me Tampa Bay.
I picked them because Miami, if they're gonna still be sticking with with Ewers, Tampa Bay should be able to hold their own against them. Give them a couple. I give them 3 to 4 games. Give them the start of next season. If Tua doesn't come back, then start seeing where he is.
No, well, that's the thing. They made him the third string, so I mean,
Yeah, Tua's done.
I think he's at least done in Miami for sure. He should be done. Should have been done. Period. But
Dang on, he's still going now. Hope.
yeah,
All right, New England at the Jets.
New England.
Yeah, Philadelphia at Buffalo.
Mm, mm, huh.
Think about it.
Buffalo.
All right. All right. So you said, so you took Buffalo.
Yeah.
Philly, for some reason, I just don't trust. I don't trust it to finish off. So I don't know. So I will have to see when it comes to Philly on that one. All right. Chicago at San Francisco.
Mm. Give me
That's going to be a good game. I just don't. Chicago's still like right there on the borderline of it.
yeah. Give me San Fran.
That's who I took just because, not for sure. All right. And then the Monday Nighter Rams at Falcons.
Rams.
All right. So then that makes it to where we only have two head to heads next week. Baltimore, you took Baltimore, I took Green Bay, and then you took Seattle, I took Carolina. After tonight, you are behind one game to me. Going into this week and then the final week after the fact. So currently on the stats, you are 153, 84, and 1. I am 154, 83, and 1. That 4-game swing, that 3-game swing to this week, I needed that bad boy with 2 weeks left.
Mm-hmm.
But to see that we are pretty much dead even on picks is insane. It's insane with 2 weeks to go. So next week, depending on what happens out of this, next week, we're going to have to pick against each other on some of them just to see who come out on top. Uh-oh.
Who cares?
What did you see?
Simone Biles, she dating the one player that used to
She
play
married
for
to
them.
him.
Yeah, she married to him. Apparently,
He pulled
they
a Sharon Moore.
they let her wear the cheese grater, and apparently she must have posted it online. So people had somebody decided to post about it. The New York Post or somebody decided to talk about it, and
People are
somebody.
bored with their lives. That's what that is.
Right. She's supporting her husband. What is she supposed to do? Come out with a cheese head? What are we doing?
Yeah, she's supposed to come out with a cheese head. He used to be one of them. She wore the cheese heads before. Don't try to go backwards now.
No, she's sticking with her man. Her man is a bear
My
now.
man's a bear. Rawr.
Oh, oh man, I know I should have been watching this game. I have reason to be concerned.
What? Who?
It's tied.
With the Colts and 49ers? And on that note, we are more with the more BS that's going on with the NFL this week. We actually got out of here at a decent time today.
Yeah. So, this is Dante Suave, Mystah Jay, and of course Andrew, who will be back with more college talk next week. And till then, we'll see everybody later.
Later. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, yes, yes. Merry Christmas.
Oh.